Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. How is everybody doing today on this Tuesday, December the 2nd? What's going on in your world? It's a little dreary out today, so I don't even know if we're going to even have some sunshine, but yet here we are. Well, we're right in the thick of things. We're in the middle of the Brian Walshe trial, day 2. Unfortunately, yesterday I cut the stream off a little bit before they were finished, so we're going to backpedal a little bit. I'm going to queue up kind of exactly where we were, so we're going to get a little bit of that, and then we're going to get right into today's trial. So buckle up. It's going to be a good one. Here we go.
Asked her if that would work out. She was in Serbia. She asked a few people if she was going to fly them in. Maybe her mother and my mother can no longer support the kids. They're just not in shape. They were a few years ago, and now it's just not possible. She's like, even my mother, and I was like, your mother's never like she can't last. Yeah. Well, I mean, they were watching. Her mother did help us a few years ago with 2. But it just wasn't possible anymore. So, especially after her neurological incident last year. So
how did that conversation, like, where did that rest? Like where did you guys leave that?
Well, I left a message for her, and I was going to get more information from Tracy. I was going to speak to Anna, and I thought I'll just speak to my mother about it too. They both have a huge investment. Nothing had been decided, but that's where the thing was.
Okay. So I'd like to go back to first the left here. We really need to find out what you did that day and a good timeline for you. I know that a previous couple interviews told us that I had left him at 6, and I think you said you got up at 7:30.
Yeah, a little after
7:30 with breakfast. And
French toast, yeah.
That's the previous. Yeah. Not getting pistol in there.
Yeah, right.
Why don't we just start at when you got out of bed and you left it?
Yeah, of course. So we get out of bed, and then because Brian wakes up, and then I came down. I didn't change in Brian because I had to go to William's room. So sometimes, like I said, I'm supposed to change in the morning. I don't always. And then William was still asleep in his room at the time, but Brian was up. Brian likes to come down the stairs himself, so I got down, and then Thomas was already on the couch. They started wanting to leave early for work. And he's like, "Yeah, I already know." I said, "Why?" I was like, "All right, French toast time." So Brian came down. I made the breakfast and emptied out, cleaned up after some of the stuff from last night's dinner. Emptied out the dishwasher and that stuff. And then I went up to get William and bring him down for the breakfast. So then we had the breakfast, which is the kids love the French toast on days off. And then was it coconut melon? Was I think what I put on for the kids. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So there was that. The kids have their iPads too, as you know. There's a lot of new toys that we were playing with. So that was most of the morning. I didn't have the phone at the time. I think I emailed. I made sure so Zach and Daniel, who are we basically work. We were always in contact every day, so I wanted them to know that my phone wasn't working in case something was coming across to let them know that I could only get emails on it and my mother. So those are the 3 emails I sent out. I was going to send out more, but I just didn't have time. But I figured the phone would show up. So Robin came in, and the kids were excited to see Robin. And then I got ready. I hadn't gotten ready at all. I showered and everything like that. So and I had time from 3 to 9 to leave the house, and it was to go to my mother. But I had to go out and get the milk and the juice and some other things. Mainly the milk was the reason why I went to Shaw's. And then I came back and set that up. So I left at 4 instead of leaving at 3. And then I drove up and saw my mother, and then a couple errands, CVS and Whole Foods is the main things that I remember. I talked to her, the usual stuff, made sure everything was going well, and then I drove back, and that was the main thing. I think I got back, at 8 or something like that.
In your house the rest of the night?
Yeah, that's it. It's my times are pretty strict, so and I'm you call that I'm 100% compliant on those.
Right. So when you first left the house at Josh,
Yeah, around a little after 3.
I think you went to Walgreens and the Walgreens after Josh.
I might have gone to Walgreens. I'm trying to think. I might have gotten some baseball cards for Thomas or something like that. Yeah, I only know about it because of the Fresh Bowls. Barnes and Noble is the place where you get baseball cards too.
Okay. So you don't know if you're on Walgreens.
I do go to Walgreens a lot when I'm next to Shaw's. But yeah, so I don't recall. I was pretty focused on making sure everything knows.
Okay. So then after that, you come home.
Yeah.
What do you do while you're here?
Oh, I just got the stuff in the fridge, and basically told Robin I was heading out. Checked on the boys and things like that, and then I was gone.
And like direct to your mom?
Yes.
What was that address?
330 Paradise Road.
You were Paradise and
Swampscott.
Your condo.
What?
Your
Condos on, yes, sir.
and that's private. That's a single family in Swampscott.
It's at something called the Landing. It's like an apartment complex or something.
What unit is
1320.
Okay, so you were directed at Swampscott. What route did you drive up there?
It was a little difficult because I got lost because I didn't have the GPS.
Okay.
So it took a bit longer. I went the wrong way, and then I came probably. So what did I do? Because I normally supposed to go 1A, I went 1, and then I came across on 114 or something, and then was able to get up to what's it called? The Swampscott.
So it took longer than normal.
It took longer than normal, yeah.
How long do you estimate it took to get there?
Normally, I mean, with no traffic, you can make it in, maybe 60, 70 minutes, but I probably took I took over a little bit over 90 minutes, maybe. So I was probably there, I was there before 6, but after 5:30.
Okay. Where did you get lost?
I went on 1 instead of going on 1A, and I kept driving further than I had to.
Right. And what did you do at the house?
She didn't know that I was coming because I don't call in advance. So it took a while to get in. She's like, "Who is it?" She's always, she's like, I was like, "It's your son, supposed to be here." She's like, "You didn't call." I said, "I'm on the phone," and she opened the door, and then I came in, and then we just talked for a few minutes. I told her what was going on, and then I discussed if she I forget if I brought stuff at the time, or I don't think so. I think I went back out and then brought some stuff from whatever she needed. A couple I forget what it is, but normally it's frozen foods that she likes. I don't have the exact name of it, and that's a couple things from CVS. She likes clean pads. Is usually she can't have enough gloves and clean pads and things like that since the pandemic.
Okay. So you left Elon to CVS. You think that where?
And then I was just in that area, that Swampscott area.
The Whole Foods in CVS.
Yes. Not that I can call out here to stop. Sometimes I go stop and shop, or what is it, Home Goods, but not this time around.
We probably wouldn't want to stop shopping at the home.
Well, they have the food, also the food for the dog is like 25% more expensive at Whole Foods than it is at Stop and Shop. So, yeah, so there are times where I would go to get stuff and, obviously, Market Basket and things like that, so.
So you did some grocery shopping for your mom.
Just a little bit, yeah, she does not, require a huge amount, so.
And back to mom's after 2 years old, and then what, you say you remain there?
Yeah, just a little bit. We just discussed things, and she was like, "What's going on?" And she actually, we discussed. What Tracy had said. She's like, she basically said, "You get to see the family," was one of the takeaways, and that was, that was the main thing.
What's her plan when you ultimately get to DC? She's going with you?
Yes, she's coming with us. She's going to live at a separate residence. She's independent, but much closer right now. They're really struggling because she's been far away, and she's like, I'm not moving, especially after the pandemic, and I'm totally not moving temporarily. So that's why she didn't move down. She was about to move down to Cohasset, but then we were moving, and she's like, okay, well, until I know where you guys are, it's not happening. So I get that. That makes sense. Yes. We were going to bring her to what's the place in Hingham, the Landmark or
I haven't lived down here.
Shipyard. Shipyard. There you go. Thanks.
There's condos.
Yeah, I thought that would be good for her and close enough.
Okay, so you guys were there, and when you come home, do you stop and run on the way home?
No.
No gas stuff?
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, gas, I'm sorry, I'll have to check that. I don't think I got gas.
You only pay things with gas or credit card?
Yeah, I was about to say, I usually pay for stuff in a credit card, so if I did get gas, I'd know.
Credit card, you
I use the Freedom card. Yeah, Chase Freedom.
is that an account that was joint?
That's a joint account, the Chase account's been on it, yeah.
Okay, so from Swampscott, sounds like you come directly home, and then you take that look at you. And you have to send it forward to
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
yeah, it does sound about right.
Within those records, it has like a description of, well, you have to notify them of the load, right?
Right.
And what is that done? Is that done like the morning you want to leave, you tell them?
Oh, no.
Here today, is that?
No. So, with Marlene, every Thursday I send her an email. If you go through my emails, you can look through all of those. And I say, so these are the requests for the week. This is what I'll be doing at this time. May I have permission to take, to school or whatever it is. Now, there are some other things that are constant, like taking the kids to school is all set up. Right, so I have to take school from Monday to Friday and stuff like that. So those I don't make requests for. The other things, like I have to see Tracy in person, or see my probate lawyer, or support my mother, or take the kids to a game that's not. I make those requests in advance. If anything changes, I am able to ask about changes. They're supposed to be 72 hours in advance, though. So same day would have to be an emergency situation.
Okay. I think the particular trip that on Sunday, when you went to Swampscott, I think it was the description said mom drop off.
Yes, so I was supposed to take, because she was having cataract surgery, so she was coming over. What happened? So she was going to come over. I went and I picked her up, and I brought her back to the house. So she was okay. So let me figure this out. We went on the 20th or something, or the 21st for her surgery. At that point, she couldn't do a lot, so she was at the house here. We were taking care of her. Then I drove her up, set her up at her place so that she could be comfortable away from the kids. She's unable to like stay there like for extended periods of time. And also so that, she likes to leave on and I can have time alone as well. Then I went to pick her up and brought her back. And then she was going to stay until first. She left early and I said, I'll come up. And she's like, I have everything. And I said, okay, I'm all set for Sunday. I'll come up and make sure you're all set for the week so that we're all, everything's good. I'm glad you're feeling better. So we didn't know how fast she recovered much quicker from this cataract surgery than the first one. So I went up to support her instead of drop her off so that she made sure she had everything.
The day you did drop her off early, what was that?
No, her car was here because we brought her car in before her surgery. And then she's like, I can drive, I'm fine. She left on Thursday.
Okay. So you're here Sunday night, usually night, you go out on Monday? Do you have any scheduled, I can't recall, I thought I had it.
I don't believe I had scheduled time on Monday. I probably took, I guess I did have a little bit of scheduled time to do things with the boys. And normally it's for school, but they didn't have it. So I took Thomas for, I wrote taking Thomas for ice cream or something like that. So, to mix it up a little bit. What was the other thing? I think that was it. That was the only time I left. I don't remember leaving in the morning.
So you said you took Thomas and the other boys stayed here?
Other boys stayed here for a while.
What time did she go here?
I don't remember. I think I had her come over pretty early because Anna had left, and at the time I didn't have the phone. If you look at the text messages, she's like, so when she left on Sunday, I said, hey, can you go on Monday? I'm all by myself with the boys. I don't know what's happening. I don't have the phone. She said, sure, but she texted me and said, is 9 okay? I was able to get in touch with her. We didn't have the phone at the time, but I was able to, that's when she went out and went through all the garbage in the middle of the day looking for the phone.
Yeah, you said the boys don't want to go.
Right, yeah. There was a speaker and then there was the coffee grinder. I was like, that was kind of weird.
What kind of speaker?
I don't know. It's something that Anna had gotten, but once it was clean, it didn't work anymore, so it all went back in. But I appreciated Robin bringing it all out.
You guys got any Google Voice devices in there?
No.
Okay, so you recall once on month?
Yeah, that was it.
Ice cream?
I think, usually I gotta get a treat with Thomas. I tried it one-on-one time with him. William and Brian also like it, so I'm trying to mix it up. But I don't have a huge amount of time. Oh, doing his over in Hingham was good.
Yeah. That's where you got her.
I think, is that what we wanted? They wanted to go somewhere. He was asking about somewhere else. I think he wanted to go to Press. He wanted to go to Press, which is the, what's that place? Press is in Norwell or something like that. No, it's actually, it's a healthy place, but he thinks he's getting a chocolate milkshake, but it's just a chocolate banana. I don't know. He figured that he's like this. He's found it to be tasty, so I was like, well, that's better than ice cream. So.
So we're in Monday. I mean, at what point do you really start to get
Nervous?
getting really concerned?
Monday. Yeah, when I had the phone. Once I got the phone, she was getting in touch with me. I was like, well, this is like, that was weird. And we're over time, basically. So I told her, yeah, all the time. So, but the week or so before, we had the same situation. Yeah, for Christmas and everything. So I didn't want to freak out at that point. So I was like, you know what? Let me see what happens in the morning. And then that's when all the texts started coming. I was like at 6, I wake up pretty early. So I texted her, I was like, what's going on? That's when I got in touch with Alyssa. And she told me to calm down. And my mother told me to calm down. And Sandra, her sister, was like, I was going to 12:31. No one seemed to worry, but I was like, maybe maybe I'm being insane. I almost called work last time, and Anna's like, not embarrass me at work. And my husband calling around for me. So I was going to call on Tuesday, but I didn't, and I should have. And then I didn't hear from her. And then on Wednesday morning, that's when I called. I started calling the lines. I don't have a number of someone at work. I realized too. So I called I called the Mazda building, called Crossing building. I called Jeff Chon. I didn't have his number. While I was looking for that number, Graham got in touch with me and said, "Hi, is what's going on?" I was like, "Here's Brian Wallace, I'm his husband." Oh, thank you, sir. Is she there? He's like, "Is there a problem?" I was like, "Not if she's at work." And that's when this all. Wednesday morning. That was Wednesday morning. 4, yeah, 72 hours.
So you're concerned on Monday, Tuesday,
Everyone's telling me to calm down.
everyone is on there.
And I was going to call work, and the whole thing was like, don't embarrass her at work, and that's why I kept texting, "Where are you?" I emailed her, I said, "You're missing again."
Who's Alexandra?
Alexandra's sister. So her name is Alexandra, but Anna has all sorts of different names for her. Alex, Sally, Saleh, so all sorts of, so she has a bunch of big names. That's Anna's sister.
I saw you communicated with her through the
Viber, yeah.
And on the 4th, which is Wednesday, you'd already told her that I can't get a hold of her.
Yeah.
But then she starts talking about the police. That the police, don't know how to why would you tell me to
Tell her to wait to call the police, because I was at the time, I was talking to Petition Inspire people, and the guy Huey was going to get everything in motion. He's the one who said, "I'll call DC," and he met them, and then he's the one who called Cohasset to get everything going, because he's ex Secret Service and everything. So I mean, I asked, basically, I was going to do it myself, and he's like, "Let me do it." And that's the human resource officer, Teresa, who immediately got me in, who called me. She's like, "I'm driving over now. I'm going to tune you in with Huey." So I was like, "Okay," because I've never filed a missing person report or anything like that. She said, "We have support for you," but there was no delay by doing that. In fact, I feel like things happened a lot quicker.
I think things happen pretty quick after.
Yes. Right. Yeah, 100%. And I think it was, I'm sorry, I only know this person, Greg, immediately came over and he got the information down and he came over again and then Huey called me. Greg gave me the missing persons report, but it was Huey who gave me the incident report.
I think Richard Walker.
No. Who's that?
It's not last week, the lead,
On that?
Yeah.
Frank's mother?
Yeah.
I'd like to offer a report.
Yeah, and I will run up on people I gotta run by, and I think, that goes both ways, Generate a lot more leads, generate a lot more time wasting.
Exactly, instead of focus. Anyway, she wanted me to raise that.
Okay, she spoke to me about it and I said, talk to Tracy, so.
What does she want to offer for the reward?
But she'll offer, I mean, she'll offer more, I'll offer.
That's the concept.
That's her starting point.
Yeah, it's before that.
But before we do anything, we're
Yeah.
getting approval.
No, it's
from you
important
guys.
that we still.
Sometimes it doesn't take public announcements on there all in an offer.
Right, no,
We're not-
we don't want to do anything
No,
that's
we're-
going to impede the
Yeah,
investigation.
thank you.
No,
Appreciate that.
we're working in alignment with you, that's our focus.
When I called you the next day about the media,
Right.
probably picking up
Yeah.
media inquiries.
Yeah.
This is kind of along the same.
Yeah, it hasn't, it's only created more stress.
So we want to work on the same team.
Yeah.
Media kind of has their own.
Yeah, right, sell newspapers. And that's why we brought Tracy's here to, basically, cool that, in a different time where, the rest of us are not operating really very well. And also to, protect me for, my Yeah.
We're getting a lot of, noise from, leads, from everywhere.
Do you have any other names?
Not off the top of my head, I was just, home to, here.
Oh, man.
I figured I'd throw it out. But it doesn't matter.
No, do you have any other information?
No,
Okay.
not right now.
All right.
Obviously, we have
Is he an Uber driver or a Lyft driver?
Richard Walker?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you-
I don't even know if he exists.
Okay.
I'm asking, why you asked that?
Anna had a regular, I don't know if it was Lyft or Uber, but said that, like, if someone out here, she kept recognizing, like, it was the same person
Oh, really?
that would come out. I mean, I guess there's not a lot, like, this is not a high, so 2 or 3, I don't know how many times, but I never got the person's name. No, just that he was, it was very nice and,
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there. Oops, you can't see me. Hello. Hello. Okay. I just want to remind you kind of where we're at. So he is in his third interview with the police, and I believe this is on the 5th of January. Oh, no, it's the 7th. So that was a Friday. It was a Saturday. So his third interview is on Saturday the 7th. Anna started going missing, remember, like New Year's Day. That was the 1st. So we're like 7 days already. And I just want to remind you that they had already given the phones to the police to download and that he is going about his whereabouts and where was he, etc. I don't know currently right now if those police officers who are sitting there know what is on his phone. I do know that in the evidentiary hearing that we heard that when Connor Keefe got the phones, he had downloaded them and then um he had downloaded them, had gotten the information off of them. So they were like downloaded overnight, and he started going over them like the next morning, like at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And so the police are at his house going over his timeline while the other police, Connor Keefe and Guarino, are going through his location data, etc. So I don't know if the police who are sitting there currently are saying, hey, like they're getting text messages that say XYZ. I do know not too shortly after that, they sent DeChico and I think Buchanan out to these locations that he said that he was at, Walgreens and CVS and the Shaws and Whole Foods and Swampscott and his mom's house. They had gone to some of those places he said that he was at, looked for the footage, and he wasn't there. He wasn't at those locations. And then they got the location data from his phone and then went to those places and obviously got that. So it's kind of like, remember, we're hindsight 2020 looking into this, knowing kind of where this is at. So I want to see where this goes. All right, let's get back to it.
good driver. No, I didn't get any info. I didn't think about it. I mean, but I know that she normally you don't see an Uber driver twice, and I think she saw him at least twice, if not more.
Some people, private number, driver that have direct account.
Right. I don't know if that ever. Yeah, I asked, "Are you doing that?" At the time when I asked, it was a while ago. She said no. So
You specifically.
I said, "Are you going to just hire him directly?" She had said no. So that's where we left it. That was like a month ago or 2 months ago or something.
And what rideshare service was
I'm pretty sure it was Uber. It could be Lyft. I never, she was running both of the apps and seeing what the pricing was always.
Black.
I don't know. She usually gets the regular stuff, whatever was available. And she was leaving very early in the morning to go acid. So there were days when I was awake early on, and she was worried about if she was gonna make it to the airport because you couldn't get anyone, or they were 30 minutes out.
Obviously, we're not missing, you know, the public and many people are gonna have their suspicions about you.
Sure.
It's something to honor. It's important.
Tracy is preparing for that.
Yeah, I mean, we know that's not lost on you, and it's important for us to iron out a real timeline for you and set out well, and then suspicions of that and quicker.
Sure.
And that's part of the reason we're in the timeline. And what we did on Sunday and Monday, for the certainly. But you know, that's why I really want you to kind of think hard and never stop when you left on Sunday or when you went out on Monday, stuff that we can verify. You know, what you can't verify. You basically want to know where you went, you know, what you go, and where you saw. But we also would like to hear from about. So, as far as the trip on Sunday, the first time you left the house was to go to Shaw's. Is that correct?
Yes.
And actually, what was it?
Sure, I forget about that. Possible.
Back here, back out for Swan.
Right.
Route travel again out there.
Is Route 1.
So from here, like us, when they leave here, they will have to start.
Take a right, and then I drive over to, I get over to the, I think it's Derby Street area, right? So I take the left and go through all that. Then I get up onto, it's 93, is that right? Or something like that. Then then I get to Boston.
Okay, so I paused it there for a second. So, I don't know if you are like, I already heard this. I already heard this. Like we've heard this story at least 5 times, right? So that is what I would assume is a police tactic, right? Have him go over his story over and over and over again. And obviously, when you're going over a story, sometimes you throw out a detail that you hadn't before. Sometimes your recollection isn't as great as it was before. But this is what they're doing. They're trying to get him to establish where he was on Sunday. This is supposedly the morning after the incident where she started to go missing. And then also on Monday, like what was he doing, etc. We know in hindsight, he's lying. He didn't go to some of these places, or he didn't go where he was supposed to go. He also said that he was lost, which was interesting considering they found the other cell phone in his car. And I don't know if that cell phone is the one that they have the location data on as to where he was, etc. But he said he got lost and he didn't have a GPS, but he had the other phone. He's got a newer model Volvo. Doesn't that have GPS in it? I don't know. But these are questions that I have that you probably have as well. So let's get back to it.
And through Boston, and then one, I guess this was going to 1A, but I stayed on 1 somehow, because I've gotten so used to not having directions, right? Or having directions, not having directions. I was just, and then I got myself further up than I should have, and I came across.
So at what point did you go down?
The ship. The ship. So there's there's a ship on north North Shore. So you're on Route 1. There's a ship. Christmas tree store used to be there. I think on the right. Yeah. So I think I think I've gone too far, and I don't know how to use my GPS Volvo because I never use it.
Okay, so do you turn around or do you keep going?
No, I went.
Oh, so obviously they must be reading my mind, right? He's like, oh, how do I answer this question? So there's the answer. He doesn't know how to use the GPS in his Volvo. Are you buying it? if you're the police at this moment in time and your wife is missing, and now we're on day 6, even though it's the 7th, we're on day 6 of her missing, right? Again, you know, you and I have watched so many police shows. They always suspect the husband. And now here they're like, okay, they've looked into most of her financials. They looked in the text messages and stuff. I don't know. It's not hard to put 2 and 2 together. Let's continue.
I looked around and I think I took 114. I'm not sure. I just took a right because I knew that I knew my mother was here and I was like over here. I could go across.
Yes, you got across it on Route 114.
I think so. Yeah, that's I remember that.
And that brings you over to what?
Well, I think it brings me over to Lynn, and then from there I like snaked around and then got to the water and up to Swampscott.
Your condos and Lynn, check them out.
No, I did not at all.
Are those occupied?
They were both occupied. Yes. You're welcome to. I mean, we have to talk to the tenants. We're welcome to look at them if you want.
Okay, so you cut through Lynn and you go direct on, is that right?
Yes.
And how long did it?
And I'm sorry for this, whatever this tapping in the microphone is. It's not me, it's somebody in the courtroom. I don't know where they are and what this tapping is. Unfortunately, the camera is only focused on Brian. That tapping is very annoying, but this is what live court is all about. If you were sitting in the courtroom, you wouldn't be able to hear the microphone, but you also wouldn't be able to hear anything either. So it's kind of like a balance. If we're sitting at home in our living rooms and we're watching the court, we get to hear and kind of see almost everything versus being in the courtroom. So sorry, we're just gonna have to bear through it. It's I have my headphones on and it's very annoying. So there's nothing I can do. Let's get back.
Not long. Just it's a good question. I don't really have a timeline now, but let's say 15 minutes.
Okay, so you estimated it took you about 90 minutes to get there, is that right?
Something like that, yeah. So I left there around 4, so I should have been out of there by 6, or around that 6 o'clock time.
To go to
Okay, sorry. I have to stop again. So here we are, we're on the 7th of January, right? And now they're going over his timeline again and again and again and asking like very specifically, oh, so you went here and you did this and you did that and you got lost and la 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 la. To me, they're starting to put it together to be like, hey, this isn't right. So maybe they already know something, right? Or they're already suspecting that he has something to do with her disappearance. Because at no point in time during this interview or any of the other interviews, again, where's the panic? Where's the, hey, what are you doing to help find my wife? Why are there 5 or 6 of you sitting here in my dining room table with my attorney and we're just like having like a casual talk over coffee, right? Just a casual talk over coffee. I would be panic stricken. Obviously, we know in hindsight 2020, he already knows what happened to her. So his thought process isn't about trying to find her. His thought process is, how am I going to get away with this? So what can I tell the police to sort of skirt them into believing my story, believing what I have to say? That's what he's doing right now. All right, I'll be quiet. Let's go on.
Yeah, I went to the errand and I got back and I was there a bit longer and then back home.
And again, the errands were to Whole Foods.
ZS, yeah.
And you had to go to the stores because, well, we were looking for Whole Foods.
Yeah, I was supposed to do the Whole Foods and then CVS, usually the wipes, the alcoholic wipes and stuff like that.
And
don't fully
I do not, sir. I might have gotten gas, I don't know, I have to check.
And with that, your mom's dropped that in the
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
conversation.
Obviously I ended up being there for New Year's, and she's like, okay, how are things going? I said, yeah, it was going, we had a great night, and then she's like, is Robin at the house? I said, yes, I gotta get back. And she came late, and I don't have my phone, so my mother got worried about that. She's got her phone, so there was a lot of discussion about that, and then, me getting to see with the kids, she's like, you can't like this going on too long. And, that was pretty much it. And now that a lot of her surgeries are done now up here too, so it's a good, she was like, it's a good time. I've done my cataract surgery, I had all of my, my checkups for my lungs, so this would be a good time to go.
Okay. Do you notice that he keeps mentioning he doesn't have his phone? I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone. I'm lost. I don't have my phone. I'm not sure what he is trying to establish in this. By him saying he didn't have his phone, again, we're not really sure whether or not we know that the kid's phone was found in his car. So he didn't have his phone. Did he like deliberately, oops, I lost my phone so that you couldn't have it to find out where I'm at? But the the car, doesn't the car have GPS? Is the car going to tell on him and where he went? So these are questions that I have. Are we going to find out those answers? Stay tuned.
So you guys did have a conversation a lot.
Yeah, she asked, like, where's Lana? And I said she had to go for work, and then she's like, well, she's working all the time. And I said, yeah. Yeah.
Talking about this work, and there's chemotherapy and all that kind of stuff.
No, last time, on December 24th, when she worked up until 7 p.m. and then she missed the flight on, there was I was like, what's going on? And she basically said, you're asking a lot of questions. I didn't know what's going on. I was like, well, it seems really odd that you have to work like so late on December 24th. And she said, hey, I said I was going to take care of it. And then I said, all right. So I didn't want to get into it, especially she was obviously hesitant to tell me that she wasn't going to be able to stay the whole time. So I didn't want to, we had a great night. So I was like, okay, well. And then she also said, I'm going to have more time for Martin Luther King Day, 4 or 5 days. I remember her saying that she's like, it's all to work out. I'm behind. She got sick after coming up for Christmas. So I guess she had to work from home on Tuesday, and she felt like behind for the year. So it could have been that she was wanting to get ahead, but she said that there was something that was important that she had to be at. I assumed, I haven't told you the stories I make up in my head, but if you're interested, I have there's no basis other than like, what I thought it might be, but I thought something at the Mazda building. That's where she was till 7 p.m. On the 24th of December. In the morning, she sent me, if you look at the text, she's like, there's leaks, like at 8 a.m. on that. So I assume that something must have gone on over there, and she's supposed to live right next door. That's so the fact that she's here and not right next door, someone might call her and say something like that. She'd be like, well, I have to get over there. And she was always busy on the phone, sent phone on. So, well, she lives. Our townhouse is right next door to the Mazda building, so she can walk over, right? So the fact that she's always here doesn't. I don't know. I mean, again, this is all of my conjecture. Like, she's like, well, if we were at the townhouse and something went on at the Mazda building on New Year's Day or any time, she could get up, walk over, deal with it, and come right back. We'd be fine. But no, but she manages all the people and stuff there. So, and she's it's an in-person job. It's not something like that she does over the phone and stuff like that. So but again, that was something that that's in my head. Yeah.
Why do you think you
We we lost a lot of time over the holiday season.
When did she actually tell you that
She alluded to it when she arrived on Friday, and she was busy on Saturday saying that she was running, things were running behind, and then she basically said I have to go back. She kept saying I have to go back early. Then after Jen left, she said I have to go back tomorrow.
if you met you a few times, if you had to go back there, but then after left, she said,
Right.
"Go there."
So in the morning, and I was like, well, that's somewhat surprising, but considering like the Thanksgiving schedule, the last 2 months, it wasn't surprising because she was supposed to be here for Thanksgiving, that got canceled. And then when she came back on December 6th, she was supposed to be here for 5 days, but she was only here for a few hours. She was supposed to be here for Christmas, New Year, Christmas Eve and all of that. And then that got compressed, and then she drove up, so she's only here from 8 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the 26th. So all of that became a pattern that we were getting compressed on our schedules. That due also due to the flights and things like that.
So that when she came back, late on, forced to work so late on Christmas Eve.
Okay. I said this yesterday, but I'm going to say it again. We talked about what are the stressors in life that, break the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? What is the end all of the end all of the end all? I cannot tell you enough. I believe 100% that it is the fact that she wasn't home. And why wasn't she home? Yes, she had problems at work and she needed to be there because that's what he stated. That was her job. Her job was an in-person job. She had to be there. She's managing a building. She's managing people. She has to be there, right? I also think that she has stuff with her paramour, her lover that she has, William Faustow. Hopefully when he takes the stand, he'll be able to sort of fill in the gaps of the dates and the times and stuff that he was with her, etc. I also think that the stressor was that since she wasn't home, he was the primary person to take care of the kids because she wasn't there. And as you just heard the 3 timelines. She was supposed to be home at Thanksgiving. She went to Serbia instead. She was supposed to be home earlier in December 6th. She came home, then she left. Then she was supposed to be home at Christmas time. She didn't make it home. Her flight was canceled. She ended up driving up. Or yeah, again, I'm all confused. But she came home for just a small time at Christmas, and then she was leaving again. And I think that was it. I think, and that's why I think something happened. And I think that's when it was the end for her. They had a fight. They'd been drinking champagne. They had a fight, and he couldn't take it anymore. And maybe in the fight there was an accident, and then one thing led to another. He dismembered her and threw her away. So let's continue. I think we're almost done with this from yesterday. Let's go.
Thought it hard to believe.
Yes. No, I mean, I was like, why? Yeah, I was complaining about it. That's the best way to. I mean, no, I don't think so. I just was like that. I said, who else is working on that at that time? But they, I guess they made a decision to get all of this stuff out of there early. And I could see that, corporate stuff. And she did say, hey, the 24th is a working day in retail, Brian. And that is true.
What was her title?
She was the regional general manager.
Both like a problem with her in one of these buildings, not getting underneath her.
There's GMs, yeah, definitely. But she. Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely. Crossing did not have a GM for a long time. So she was playing GM over there. That guy Graham who called me was the new GM. And then Mazza was kind of her project because it was closing. So she was very hands-on over there For the other buildings, there was less talk about the other buildings.
And just so I'm clear on the timeline, she had a flight Christmas morning, she worked late Christmas Eve.
Yes,
Okay, when did she actually show up in Christmas?
8 p.m. on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day at
Yes.
8 p.m.
Yes.
She just drove straight through.
Yes, well, she missed her flight was canceled. It was like, they're canceled, and they're like, maybe we can get you out. That's when the whole storm came, and then she just got in the car and started to drive. And I said, no, get rest, which might have been better, but, it's very her, that is her to very, like, all out all the time.
Okay, so 8 p.m. on Christmas, she pulls in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you didn't spend a lot of his line here when she arrived late. If you ever start having an affair or what affair.
Okay. So she misses her flight on December the 25th, and so she gets in her car and she drives. She drives from Washington, D.C. all the way to Boston, Cohasset area. But then when she's leaving, she leaves her car. She doesn't drive back. She's going to take a flight out. Again, Monday morning quarterback. Just my thoughts. Let's continue.
Suspect you're sleeping in
No, not while we're married. I mean, like when we were dating other people, it was a bit different, but like in the last, 7, 8, or 9 years, no, absolutely not. And we were 3 kids, and after I was arrested, I remember writing her notes, and I said, this might not be the life I promised you. If you want to leave, I understand. She said, no, let's do it together. And we were, we're focused on our relationship and the kids. I mean, it's more than just us; it's children too. So. I really couldn't imagine that. She was very focused on work and family. And this would be it would be totally like outside of her, value system.
How would you react if she told you this? Angry, or would you just say
I would say, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, my first inclination would be like, we're going to get divorced. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't even expect something like that to happen. But if she said, I assume, again, the story I made out is that she's like, I'm leaving for someone else, not like I'm sleeping with someone. Well, I assume that if something like that happened, she'd say, I'm leaving for someone else. Not like, oh, I'm having an affair. That would be kind of weird. I don't know. I mean, she's very direct, but we always have these conversations. I said, I know it's been tough being separated, she's like, yeah, you have to get to, but her whole thing is like, you and the kids get to DC as quickly as possible. That is not someone who's like having an affair. What do you mean? We've had conversations about, the struggles that we're having being apart. And she was like, you have to get to, you and the kids have to get here as soon as possible. Not, there was nothing other than that. That was always her main focus. Yeah, there was it was certainly difficult, but we did see each other enough, and that we were able to be intimate, on a regular basis. Not the same as if you were living with someone, but in some ways, we took advantage of the time more than had we been together. I remember her bringing that up.
Okay. They almost caught him there. I wish they would have gone back and kind of go back and got him to really, really talk about it, about the affair. So they start talking and asking him what would his reaction be if she came and said it was over. And then he starts rambling about divorce. Well, if it was, we would just talk about it amicably, she's telling me that we need to get to DC as soon as possible so that, but we talk about it all the time. And they said, what do you talk about? Do you talk about having an affair all the time? And then he danced around the subject, right? He didn't really answer the question. He just kept saying how he needed to get to DC. But again, we have to remember that he is getting ready to be sentenced. They don't know what his um, crime is going to be, or what if he's going to have jail time in reference to his art fraud case. They do know that he's going to have jail time. They just don't know what it is and when it is. So again, like, I don't know. But the police again are playing catch up, right? They don't know all the information just yet. But I have a sneaking suspicion that they know something because they keep going over him and the relationship. Let's continue.
She said, well, when I'm here, like, you definitely make it a priority. Whereas when we were together, you're like, well, always wait another night, but here we can't. So that was something that we did discuss. But she didn't like this house. That was another thing. I mean, she was always complaining, like, going to rental, she gets rentals. So. But her having an affair, I just like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Also, where's the time? She was exhausted. She was always flying. At every moment, she was flying here or working. I mean, sure. I mean, anything's possible. It just sounds, all of the scenarios seem improbable. Certainly that does too. But maybe I'm not, I only see it like one way. And then who would be with even? I don't even know.
Is work emergencies common? Deciding when they're to pick up.
Yeah, picking up and leaving was not common. Work emergencies were, I mean, maybe the word emergency is being misused, but, upticks or something that, like a outlier. There was the time when the FBI, hit the crossing building. She was all of a sudden she was like inundated over there, and then the leaks at Mazda, TJ Maxx wanted to leave Mazda, like these things that came up that were disrupting her daily work were things that we talked about all the time, and that it was it was a huge pressure for her, and she didn't have all the personnel in place.
Actually, just to backtrack on something you said, she came home December 5th or early December, you said, and she was supposed to stay for 5 days.
Yeah,
Going home for a few hours, some kind of.
Yeah, so basically, I guess it's the same thing. She was gonna come in on, my advice is accounting or something. So she was gone. I guess she came on the 7th, which is a Wednesday. And she had left on the 23rd, so 2 weeks in Belgrade. She was gonna stay and leave on Monday the 12th. And then she told me she had to leave on the 8th. So that was it was starting to get, I was starting to get used to it. I was like, wow, that's tough. I mean, and we did have I was upset. I had 2 weeks, in Belgrade and 1 day here. Kids and I, need more than that. So.
Your Honor. Mrs. Gilman, if I could ask you to pause. Your Honor, would it be an appropriate time now, or would you go to this?
No, pick a time now.
Thank you.
So jurors, thank you for your attention today. And I know from firsthand experience, and now you do too, how tiring it can be just sitting all day. So think about that. Get some fresh air.
Okay, so remember, this was the stream yesterday. So we just had a couple of little, almost an hour that we left off from yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and end that. And now we're going to bring up today. So welcome to today. Okay, I can't sing. Sorry, I don't even know why I even bothered. All right, let's see if I can bring this up. All right, let's get rid of this one. Okay, welcome to day 2 of Brian Walsh. Again, they're going to reintroduce that Harrison Schmidt is on the stand, and they are going to continue with the third interview they're doing with Brian Walsh on the 7th of January. And again, I forget who all is there. I know it's Proctor, I know it's Schmidt, I know it's 2 guys from the oh, here it is. DeChico, Proctor. Okay, DeChico. Okay, 2 Massachusetts State police officers, DeChico and Proctor. Tracy Minor, his attorney, Schmidt, and Brian Walsh. So 1, 2, there's only 3 police officers, 2 Massachusetts State officers, and only 1 Cohasset and his attorney. That's who's present at this third interview. So let's go ahead and bring this on in. This is Brian Walsh's mother. I think her name is Diana. Don't quote me. Don't come for me. Here we go. So court hasn't started just yet, so I'm going to see if we can zoom. I don't hear anything just yet. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Yay!
You are in continuation of the case on trial of Commonwealth versus Brian Walsh, criminal indictment 2023-00. Counsel, please all stand and identify yourselves.
Good morning, Your Honor. Greg Conner for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ann Yaz for the Commonwealth.
Morning, Your Honor. Tracy Cusick for the Commonwealth.
Good morning to the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, everyone. Kelly Ford is on behalf of Mr. Walsh.
Good morning, Your Honor. Larry Tipton for Mr. Walsh.
And good morning to the defense counsel and to the defendant. Anything anyone needs to raise with me before we bring the jury in?
Yes, just a few housekeeping matters, Your Honor. We entered 5 stipulated exhibits of banking records. And so I'm prepared if you would like those for your own record keeping, but they are up here. They've been stipulated to, and then
They relate to the stipulation from yesterday regarding banking records or something different?
they relate to yesterday's stipulation.
Okay.
So they've just been marked as the next 5 exhibits.
All right, that's fine.
And then
Where does that put us on the exhibits marked for identification? That is, what's the next one?
Okay, I'm going to pause there. I just kind of want to give you a brief of what's going on. So before and sometimes after, so the jury is not there just yet. They're doing what's called housekeeping matters, right? They're going either over motions or now they're talking about exhibits and stuff. And I kind of cut that out yesterday. And I just cut it out just now for the ending. But I wanted you to see this because this isn't things that normally the jury gets to see, but this is what happens in court. And this sometimes is the boring stuff, right? Oh, what's this and what's that? But sometimes there's some really explosive things in here. So let's go ahead.
these went as exhibits, Your Honor. So the next exhibit number would be
Thank you
62.
for the clarification. So these 5 went in for as exhibits, what through what? 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60?
And 61.
And again, Commonwealth, what are they banking records from where?
So 56 is Apple Credit Union.
Mm-hmm,
57 is Barclays / JetBlue credit card.
mm-hmm.
58 is Leader Bank. 59 is JP Morgan Chase.
Hold on.
Certainly.
Now, also the reason why that they're going over this with the judge is the judge is sort of like the keeper of records, right? She needs to know what's coming into the trial. She needs to be aware of so she has to go through and she has to look at things. So while the trial is going on, you heard someone like flipping through pages. It might have been her. We don't know because the camera wasn't on whoever it was. But she needs to know what exhibits are coming in and she needs to know what the exhibit numbers are because that all of this stuff then goes to the jury at the end. So she needs to make 100% sure that the record is clear. She is the overseer of everything, because the evidence that evidence is coming in needs to be credible evidence that could be used against Brian Walshe in this matter. Remember, he is innocent until proven guilty. So that's why she's going over the records very meticulously. She takes notes as well. So you don't get to see her quite often, but maybe as we go along, you might get to see her when court goes on. So let's continue.
I'm caught up, yep.
60 is Liberty Bay Credit Union.
Mhm.
61 is Fidelity.
Okay. So we start on 62 for today,
Yes, Your Honor.
and I for identification today is our starting point. Okay?
And Your Honor, after this interview is finished playing, which is about another 30 minutes, I would ask that the court read in stipulation that's been marked D regarding the Richard Walker email.
All right, can I have that from either the clerk or the court reporter? D for ID. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I kind of feel bad for this girl right here. I don't know who she is. Maybe she might be a paralegal or something for the defense, or she might be somebody for the prosecution's team. But she is directly in the line of sight of the cameras. I think she knows that. I feel bad for her because she is on all day long. So let's continue.
Anything else from the comma?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
And from the defense, anything this morning before we bring the jury in?
Just briefly at sidebar, Your Honor.
Sure.
Okay, they're going to go to sidebar, so we'll kind of zoom through that. That's a good thing about kind of coming in a little bit late. You don't get to hear the sidebars. The sidebars are just private conversations between the judge and people. So, but they are public knowledge, and you can get the records for them. Jury's not in just yet. Here we go.
Morning.
Scoot in. Here we go. I'm gonna
Right here, give your attention, show you heard. Let's have a call to Massachusetts in this honorable court.
By the way, this is the same courtroom, or sorry, same courthouse that Karen Reed was in, but this is the smaller courtroom. This, if you know the Karen Reed trial, early on, Karen's defense team, Alan Jackson, they were in this room, and he asked if they could be in the larger room because obviously they need more space. But the way that this is configured, the way that the people are testifying, it's very, very small. It's an old courthouse. It's not really made for modern times, but it still works. Let's go. She's going to ask those same questions yesterday.
Good morning, jurors. We had a good night. Jurors will start today, as I promised, with the 4 questions. Jurors, were you able to comply with my order that you not do any research about this case?
Would anybody ever say no?
Were you able to comply with my order that you not speak to anyone about this case?
This is Judge Frenier.
Have you stayed away from all social media and or news media?
She's got a different bracelet today. It's kind of cool.
And you all still have open minds? with those 4 questions, all answered by, in the affirmative by all 16 jurors, we're ready to begin today's work. Witness may be called to the stand.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth would recall Harrison Schmidt.
Harrison Schmidt back on the stand. Hopefully this interview will be over with and we can finally get to some questions because, wow. And it's kind of hard to hear. So they gained it up from yesterday, but today we don't know if, again, live court sounds and stuff are a little wonky. So,
Sir, you understand you're still under oath. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yesterday, we stopped an interview from January 7th at approximately 1 hour and 2 minutes and 35 seconds in. At this point in time, Your Honor, I'd ask to finish that recording.
You may.
Ms. Gilman?
I wish you would tell us how much longer this is going to be. It's quite painful, but very telling, right? Very telling. The third interview is very telling.
Ms. Gilman, could you make it a little louder?
When was her scheduled flight back?
Tuesday morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know which
When
one.
they all came as a woman, yeah.
Yes, that was the understanding.
Okay. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, you said on Friday 30th when she landed, she told you that she had work that she could get back.
She was alluding to things being very busy with stuff on Friday. And she was, I remember her being tired.
Did she book a return flight earlier? Did she change the reservation? Did she book a new one?
I don't, see, here's the thing. She sent me the flight coming to Boston, but she never sent me the return flight. All I know is that she told me she had a return flight on the 3rd. But, I don't know what time or what that was. I assumed everything was just the way it was. And then she moved the schedule up 2 days, which is not the first time she's done that. I mean, it is, the whole thing was a bit, it was odd, but considering the last couple months, it wasn't so much that I was like, hey, wait, what's happening? Whereas, when I was talking to Jem was like, well, this seems insane. And I was like, well, Jem, these are the things that I've been dealing with over the last couple of months. So it wasn't something that I would be like, well, raise an eyebrow to. It was like, all right, all I did was further confirm that, I got to get to see the kids. We got to work this out. It's too much stress on the whole family. And that was the main thing. I just wanted to be together all the time.
Or did Anna ever tell you when the return flight was booked, aside from the Tuesday flight?
Say again?
In other words, did she tell you which flight she was booked on the 3rd?
No, but she always took the first or second flight out. And she had said she had already booked flights for January. But we were supposed to talk about that. And then she said, she did say she was changing a flight, but not this flight. She was changing a flight to Martin Luther King Day. So I don't know if she did that or if she didn't, but she was talking about changing that flight. That she was going to come in Thursday night, stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and leave Tuesday. And maybe try to leave, maybe say an extra day. So she was offering 4 or 5 days, which is again, was normal when she said, I'm going to take Thanksgiving, like 2 weeks for Thanksgiving, but I'm going to stay for 5 days when I come back. And she only stayed for 1 day. And then she was always like, I don't have more time. But it seemed like she was having less and less time.
On New Year's Eve with Jem,
Yes.
was Jem aware that she had to leave in the morning?
No.
Did, why do you think that is?
What, I don't know. I mean, Jem, we were probably because we just wanted to, most likely just to enjoy the, time with Jem. He was only here for 4.5 hours or so. And we hadn't seen him in person.
Were you aware that she was leaving the next day?
No, I was aware that she was probably leaving early. Again, the assumption or story that in my head was that it was just leaving Monday.
So she was originally planned to leave on Tuesday. You were on the assumption by her leaving early, it would be Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I had no information otherwise, but, I was definitely surprised, like, I gotta go.
Okay. So, what were your plans with, on New Year's Day?
Yeah, so, it was gonna be the same stuff. The only difference is that, she might have, come up with me, to see my mother possibly, or we would have, or the whole family would have done something, like up in Swampscott or somewhere nearby. Because I said I had time, and I didn't have to drop my mother off, so we can go see her and get her what she needs, and maybe we could do some stuff. So I was excited about that. Oh, good, thank you. But I didn't bring it up, but she was troubled by whatever happened with Adela. She says, can't be my friend. This is 30 minutes before New Year's. And she brought it up, she did bring it up with Jen at the time before.
You said you couldn't be a friend?
He texts on New Year's Eve, saying friendship is over or something to that, right?
Yeah.
What did he say?
What did I say?
She said, I'm sorry, I appreciate, give a leadership sort of answer, like, I accept, what you're saying. And then he called to leave a message, and then I remember her saying, I'm not taking I'm not going to listen to this. That's actually also put her phone upstairs shortly after. I think she understood it. I think he was saying that, I'm glad you haven't seen me for the holiday season. You're in town, not seeing me in person, often enough. That's not acceptable. I'm here to, support you, take care of you, or whatever it is. So, it was just a bit, I mean, it's not the relationship, I guess, she thought that they were having. He's married to the child, just by the way, and they've known each other for 10 years, so just to give you some background.
Do you know how they met?
Yeah, they worked at the Willard Intercontinental together back in 2012.
That she went to put her phone upstairs after that?
After that, she, let's say it's 10 or 15, and then I remember her putting her phone upstairs, and she came back down without it.
Was, Thomas came down at one point?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Was this before, during, or after Thomas was participating?
Oh, yeah, Thomas went to bed at, he went to bed, and then he came over at like 9 or 10 or something. I think Anna took a bunch of photos. Jem and I don't have any because she didn't send them to us yet. But I think she sent one to Will Fasto. So that was that's when the photo was taken about. So just maybe 10 o'clock or something like that.
You know where upstairs she put her phone at that point?
Yeah, on her bedstand.
In your room?
Yeah, or my room.
Okay, can you hear me now? So did you just hear that? So she was having a problem or something like that with a friend, and then she put her phone away, but she ended up taking some, so he's like all over the place. I can't follow him. I'm sure you can't either. I'm doing my best. I'm taking notes. But he said that she had taken some photos and she had sent it to William Fastow. How does he know that? Did he look at her phone after she was? And why was she sending photos to William Fastow? I don't know. I again, so the question is, did he know about the affair? Some people say no. Some people say yes. So this is what I'm listening for is what are the context clues that he knew that she was having an affair with William Fastow? Because remember, he looked him up as well. So let's continue.
What was the ceiling tile on it?
Yeah. No, yeah, not in the ceiling tile drawer, on top, yeah.
Makes sense.
But she did seem disturbed by that, which was odd. And she did bring it up, she brought it up to me and Jen at the time. So, I mean, that was something, not normal, but.
Yeah, to kind of cut us off,
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, no problem. You said that the plan for New Year's Day was to take Anna and the kids up to.
Maybe, yeah, that was.
Did you actually have a plan?
No, we didn't have a full-fledged plan at the time, but we had, we had options and stuff, so.
Was the nanny coming over Sunday, the last Sunday? Was that?
No, the nanny was gonna come over anyways, because I was gonna go, I set everything up in advance, because I was gonna have to go take my mother, so I wanted the nanny there, I didn't know what it was gonna look like and what Anna was gonna want to do and things like that, so. Also, if I was gonna see my mother, I was gonna take the kids somewhere, then we're gonna meet up later, but, because I've so little time outside of the house, when I do try to make, most of it as a family, get everything done, I would say we would do.
You mentioned having options on New Year's.
Yeah, because I had the time to go see my mother, so I was like, we'd go up and we wanted to do something, with her, with the family, we had those options were available to us, which, like today, maybe not, right, because I don't have any time.
You guys had an argument after she said she.
No, we didn't have an argument, I was taken by surprise, not to be crude, but I was in the bathroom, and she came by and said, I have to go to sleep, and I was like, well, hold on, she's like, I have to get up early, Brian, I have to go tomorrow, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, and then she said, I said I have to leave early, I said I didn't know it was going to be like that early. So, but I did have an argument with her for the Thanksgiving and the Christmas Eve. So I wasn't going to make the same 3 times. I was like, okay. And then she immediately backed it up with like, hey, I'm going to come 4 or 5 days and for Martin Luther King Day, because we were making a new schedule for January and February. I said coming every week is really not good. Is there any way that you could come every other week for more time? So we were working on that when she arrived Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Right there. If you didn't catch it, they asked, did you get into an argument with her? And he sloughed it off, right? But then he said she was getting ready to go to bed. And so the night that this occurred, she was tired. She was getting ready to go to bed, and that she had to get up early in the morning and that she was leaving. Right there. That is probably with the straw that broke the camel's back. And I bet you they started arguing right then and there. And I bet you that is when things got dark. Because she was only there for a short period of time and she was leaving. I think that's it. Okay, sorry. I just have this epiphany, and it's just like all of a sudden. So when you are going and you're talking to the police, right? You've heard of there's this game, 4 truths and a lie, or etc., right? So as he's going along, he is telling the truth, smattered with some lies, right? So again, I wish we had the video to see what his facial expressions were, and you could see what he's doing. But he's like all over the place. Now they're not helping either, because they're asking questions. This timeline over here, this timeline over here. So, all right, let's continue.
If the kids took her phone and didn't know her, how would she contact someone for it?
If the kids took her phone and hid it, how would she contact someone for a ride? She wouldn't leave I don't think she would leave the house without the phone. But let's say that I'm wrong about that. So sure, she would use my phone, right? But she put Lyft on there. I guess she would download Uber and get it. But would I know where my phone was? And we didn't have this phone at the time. So we don't have phones in the house. she using any iPads potentially? Oh, there you go. Yeah, she probably wouldn't be able to use the iPad to do it. I would not, but she would know. The only thing I saw was one phone, one and her laptop. That other iPad that I'm telling you about should be at the should be at the museum. She did have a laptop with her, but remember she programmed all of these. I think my mother bought it on I forget when we got the phone, because she had to get the phone and, or my mother had it and she was bringing it with the watch and everything, so it probably came here on she probably bought it on the second or something, everything came on the second.
You didn't have your phone when you sent those emails, those 3 emails?
Yeah.
Who were they to him?
So Zach and Daniel, my business partners at Let's, my wife and my mother.
How did you send those emails?
My laptop.
I asked, did you do anything to hurt your wife?
No, I would never do that.
What? 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 Did you miss my first expression? I love it. Did you do anything to hurt your wife? Okay, we're gonna back up, but I just like, oh my gosh. I So I love it, right? I love it. Let's just hit him with the hard-hitting questions. They're doing an excellent job. I have to tell you, this detective, amazing. Like, we're going to go over here, we're going to go over here, and then bam, we're going to hit you with this hard-hitting question. Did you do something to your wife? We're going to back it up, but whoa. All right. Let me put me in the corner. We'll start this back up. We're going to back up.
My business partners at Let's, my wife and my mother.
How did you send those emails?
My laptop.
I asked, did you do anything to hurt your wife?
No, I would never do that.
Or does, we all have arguments.
No. Did you do anything to hurt your wife? No. I'm writing this down. No, I would never. I'm going to back it up because I'm writing his exact quote.
One another.
I asked, did you do anything to hurt your wife?
No, I would never do that.
Or does
I would
we
never
all
do
have
that.
arguments with one another, spouses, et cetera. Has that ever escalated to a physical confrontation?
No, sir, no. My wife and I got along very, very well. Hey, the only stress we were having was going together. It's really, I bothered Tracy about it for months. The family doesn't work without my wife. Never hurt my wife. I mean, I loved her and what would it, I mean, I think about my kids too. She's a wonderful mother on top of being a wonderful wife. We could take that away from that. I mean, I just couldn't even imagine something like that. That's just not, would never do anything to hurt my wife. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with my wife. I'm still going to. And, you know, we were apart because of the job and my legal problems.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. He's repeating himself, right? He's like, no, I would never do something like that. Again, I wish we had the video of it because we could see what his facial expressions are. Or when they hit him with that question, he was just like, how do I answer that? No, I would never hurt my wife. No, I would never do that. She is a great mother. She's like the heart of our family. And I'm paraphrasing what he said. Let's continue.
Her leaving very early, maybe angry?
I'm gonna back up a little bit. Sorry.
Would never do anything to hurt my wife. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with my wife. I'm still going to. And, you know, we were apart because of the job and my,
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna back it up for just a second as well. So one of the things that you listen for in reference to when somebody's giving an interview and they know that somebody has passed, they use the past tense, knowing that they're not here anymore, right? And he's trying to be very careful with his words. He knows that she's passed, but he needs to keep her in the present. So I'm going to back it up just a little bit just to hear and see if he used past tense words with her.
How to be a wonderful wife. I loved her, and what would have been?
I loved her. Not I love her. I loved her. Isn't that past? I'll back it up a little bit more. Let's listen really carefully.
Together. It's really, I bothered Tracy about it for months. The family doesn't work without my wife. Never hurt my wife. I mean, I loved her, and what would have been? I think about my kids too. She's a wonderful mother on top of being a wonderful wife. I mean, to take that away from that, I mean, I just couldn't even imagine something like that. That's just not. Would never do anything to hurt my wife. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with my wife. I'm still going to. And
Okay, I wanted, that's the past. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. Something like, I still do. Hang on. We're going to back it up just a smidge.
probably a wonderful wife. I mean, to take that away from that, I mean, I just couldn't even imagine something like that. That's just not. Would never do anything to hurt my wife. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with my wife. I'm still going to. And
I'm still going to.
we were apart because of the job and my legal problems.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so these investigators, they're smart. I mean, Proctor, he's been a trooper for, I don't know, 12, 13 years, maybe 20 years. I don't remember his thing. These guys, they're smart. They're investigators. They know the investigative techniques. They know the questions and stuff like that. I am curious to find out whether or not they analyzed his testimony here and they started using those two things in the past. I loved her and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. Again, if you're missing your wife, I love her. Where is she? I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Not wanted and loved. Now, mind you, hindsight 2020, and I'm listening to this very carefully, just like you are. Anyways, let's go on. Let's continue.
Her leaving very early, being angry.
No, I wasn't angry. I was sad. I got angry about Thanksgiving, and then I realized it was just sad that we're not spending a lot of time together. And she was sad about it too, and it was exhausting for both of us. She was away from the boys. I was always dealing with the boys.
Right? He's the sole parent. Sole parenting. Exactly what I said. Sole parenting.
My wife and I were a very good team. We agreed on almost everything. We agreed on I have to get to DC. It just didn't feel like we were the authors of our own lives. So that's why she wrote that on the thing. We have to be the authors of our own lives to make this happen, Brian. We're always working together.
In your mind, where do you think she is right now?
I like a lot of people have said maybe she's at a spa, and she was under a lot of pressure. Doesn't really track with my wife. She loved her job and she loved her family, so she would always be focused on that. I mean, maybe the country house like in Bella in Serbia, but I have no idea. I'm having a hard time with that. I'm having a hard time with that.
Does she have any other identification?
Wow, the
She's got
dog is
Serbian
going
passport,
bonkers.
Serbian,
Ooh,
international
dog.
identification cards, one with NIP. I haven't seen her use them recently. I don't know if they're in, I don't even know if the date is on them, or the proper date. if they're-
I'm in Serbia, I have no ties, I'm not sure. She visit our family or good friends.
She's a language expert. She spent time in college in France, which she speaks perfect French, but she doesn't have any family, or if she has a friend there, I don't know if it's still there, Julianne, but other than that, that would be it. And then we have DC and Boston. I mean, sisters in Canada, sure. They're asking for a broader.
She's at a spa.
You check international flights. Was she scheduled, it appeared in the newspaper. Not that I ever believe the newspaper, which is why I'm asking.
That's
you.
Tracy Minor, his
It appeared in
attorney.
the Newspaper that she did have reservations to go back to DC on January 3rd.
That makes sense, yeah.
I'm just asking if that's confirmed.
That's our understanding.
Do you know what time?
Plus, they have that one employee, yeah, always.
And that she never changed that.
To our knowledge, it's not canceled.
There is a chatter between JetBlue and her over the last few months. Because when she doesn't call, she does something, they do it online, like online messaging.
Oh, she probably goes to the JetBlue site.
Yeah, they have a chat, yeah. So that's, so she could be doing that and feeding kids or something like that. Right, but a lot of times she would talk to them and it wouldn't work out, and then she would take a break and then come back.
It's live chat.
Yeah, so sometimes, I mean, I don't know if it could be like, they're like, we'll just come in, change at the counter, or they're like, I can't do this, and she's always asking for, she had gotten a good status, especially with the card, so I don't know what her deal was, but it's possible that, because she said, when I have this, they can make changes at the counter, upgrades at the counter, different, so, yeah, she never called.
What about like brunch reservations or any brunch plans on New Year's? That's a popular thing.
Not that I know, but Anna was talking about making some, so I don't know if she did it or not. I haven't checked, I haven't looked for anything on Open Table or Resi or anything like that. I could take a look.
Then,
Because last year we went the whole family, we did go to brunch. So that is a very normal thing to do.
So normally it's like a bigger
Yeah,
scheduled plan for New Year's.
right, but I mean, this year, things were up in the air.
So, a lot of time outside of the house on New Year's Day. When did you put that request in? Was it a normal Thursday request?
Yeah. No, always Thursday.
And the requester was from 3 to 9?
3 to 9, yes.
So there wouldn't have been brunch.
No, yeah, we wouldn't have a brunch, but it was good.
Would she have gone to brunch without you?
No, well, she would have left. No.
I mean, if she were going home on January 3rd, would she have gone out?
Okay, I have to pause for a quick second. You kind of heard a little bit about what they were talking about. It sounded like a request for 3 to 9 on Monday, the 2nd. Remember, he is on he's on house arrest, right? He had the art fraud case, and in that he's supposed to be like on home monitoring. I don't think he had like a GPS monitoring on his ankle, but he had some like monitoring. I'm not sure exactly what that was. I'm sure they'll tell us I'm sure that they'll answer this question. But he had some sort of like he was able to go out between 3 and 9. That was his requested time. So if they had brunch in the morning, he really wasn't allowed to go out. So again, the timeline is jumbled up a little bit. Maybe we'll get a little better clarification, but I wanted to clear that up. I'm going to back it up just a smidge so that you can hear that.
Thursday request.
Yeah. No, always Thursday.
And the request was from what, from 3 to 9?
3 to 9, yes.
So there wouldn't have been brunch.
No, yeah, we wouldn't have a brunch, but it was good.
Would she have gone to brunch without you?
No, no, well, she would have left. No.
I mean, if she were going home on January 3rd, would she have gone out to brunch with other friends or anything?
No way, no. The only time when she was here that she saw someone without me was Rima. And I was only twice, she did that twice. That's the only, everything else we would do together or people would come to the house. The time together was very important for us.
Both friends in the area that,
Peter Kirby.
do you think we should speak to as far as that Luann wrote well? That she was close with the house?
Peter Kirby, they were in the same leadership school together 3 years ago. And he lives with his wife and child in Marshfield. They've been calling for support. Jim Lulu, who's here, obviously, a family friend, and someone who is, obviously loves Anna very much. Rima Ferrer, she was Anna's mentor, and they were very good friends. Those would be the main ones that I would think of.
I think that's pretty much it for now. I mean, you don't have to obviously do much dialogue and back and forth at the beginning. And follow-up questions. You can interact with
I might have it here. That's helpful. Yeah, let me get that going. But I think she sent it to me. Could this be it?
You obviously have the ability to get your own credit card statements. You want to pull those and then for the past week and that'll help us travel and places stop and stuff like that.
Yeah, just check the Chase Freedom. That's the one that I use. I don't use the Capital. The Capital one has been out of commission. It was only in commission for a month or so. Do you have access to the Chase Freedom or?
We gotta jump through a lot of hoops.
Yeah, absolutely. We get how much of the Chase Freedom would you like?
31st.
Oh, okay, so just. Okay.
We'll give you all December. We'll give you all, we're not gonna.
That's
easier, just, they come in a month.
Whatever the last month's statement is, I'm not sure if it's, you know how it is, some of them start December 10th. Yeah, so will I. But I don't think they do it.
I'm still not.
I have dealt with Anna. She does everything online.
Yeah.
Anna's cousin, one of the
Milan?
Land dispute conservative.
Milan, yeah.
Milan, I was gonna ask his name.
Yeah.
Last name?
Lubitsch.
Has he ever contacted you?
No. Yeah, I think he does speak English though.
So you said there was a conflict that.
Yeah, there's a terrible conflict. If you speak to Alexandra, she'll know more about it. But since I've been on, basically what happened 2 generations ago in Serbia, in Belgrade, Anna's father's mother, so her grandmother, bought a piece of land with her sister or something, and then they had kids, and there's been a land dispute over it because now it's worth a lot of money and you can build a large building there. And that building, that kind of money in Serbia change your life. I mean, it's like winning the lottery here. And then they've been fighting over it for many, many years, 20 years at least. They thought they were going to resolve it in 2017. Then things didn't work out, things went back and forth. And then just this Thanksgiving, they, basically the deal. So they had a deal that it took 15 years to put together. 5 years later, they couldn't perform, and they're going to split.
Aside from that, and the building, is there any, business conflicts with parties or with Mr. Josh or anybody that would be upset with?
I just have to say, I feel so bad for the dog. Did you see the dog is in a crate in the basement? That's not a very large crate. And also, that's a German Shepherd. I had a German Shepherd. The dog is restless downstairs, and it's driving me nuts. Sorry. Let's continue. Ah!
Yeah, people ask me that same question. I can't think of anyone that would be upset with Anna. I mean, everyone loves Anna. She's wonderful. So, and if you see all the texts and emails coming, like, what can we do? Love Anna. I can't think of I can't think of anything like that. Honestly, that would be operating anything like this.
I can think of someone who would want to hurt Anna. That would be you. You would want to hurt Anna.
Whether it's her fault or not, like any issues at work that comes up that somebody would be slighted?
Not that I know. I mean, the only people I know are the people that she was working with, and she had a very good working relationship with everybody. No, again, it would be very hard to. No, I wouldn't have a name to give you for that.
Okay. What about you? Any previous business partners and current partners? Anybody that would be upset with you that would want to try and hurt you in some way?
Well, I mean, we love the guy in LA.
Oh, but there's a civil lawsuit.
Yeah.
A
Well,
civil lawsuit is not the same as wanting to hurt you.
okay.
There's a civil lawsuit in California. I don't think that reads any.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
understand somebody suing you.
Yeah.
But Anna too.
Trying to hurt your wife is different.
I'm sorry, what? There's a civil lawsuit? Huh. I don't know if I knew that. I wonder if that's the guy that he had sent is that the guy that bought the fake Andy Warhol painting? I wonder if we're going to get more information about that. But if there's a civil lawsuit pending, that also can constrain things as well, as that's another financial burden on the family. And then you have to hire a lawyer. Is Tracy Minor handling that as well? She was just like, oh, it's just a civil lawsuit. But if you have finances that are stacking on one another and your wife is sort of like the main breadwinner and oh gosh, I could see how this could build up and kaboom. All right, let's continue.
Right, but there's an Anna as well, and then he called Anna during the thing. So I mean, that's the one. That's one person. But I don't think so either. But that.
We have the name just
what is a lot of gallery thing. But he had Ron Rivlin. Yeah, but he did call. He called Anna, and he brought her into the case.
What is it?
Well, he sent her threatening email, Facebook text at one point. You stole from me. I know the police and the FBI. I'm coming to get you. Things like that. But that was 6 years ago. And we had, other than when I was arrested, he tried to contact her via Facebook or something, 2018. But we haven't heard from him since
What were the 18 contacts?
2018. I think it was just, he was trying to friend her or something like that.
Criminal stuff started.
That's right, when the criminal stuff started, yeah. But that would be someone who, I mean, certainly I have a different situation. So, him and, I mean, there's young Lee in Korea, but highly unlikely. I mean, he's he's a son of a billionaire. I don't think he would.
What in Korea?
His name is Jean Lee.
It's another person involved in it.
Yeah.
They're getting restitution and everything.
Also,
The guy is
John could care less, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anything of that would rise to that.
Yeah, saying that Arno did we.
And besides, they would be pissed at him, not.
Yeah. Ron is the only one that tried to bring us
Chung Lee is and what was the other name you said?
was Arno. Or the other person who Arno, who's in Paris, he's a art dealer.
Were they all partners in there?
No, it's all a separate situation.
So why separate incidents, like aside from?
Yeah, well, they're similar
They're
separated.
separate incidents, and honestly, I don't think anything about his criminal case would have anything to do with this.
I don't either, but I still want to.
But those are the names of the players. And Ron was the one who did have contact with my wife and did serve my wife at work.
Okay, but if people have a problem with you or your wife, like those are the people we want.
Right.
I understand that. Some of those people may be very controversial. They have any involvement in this.
Well, definitely Korea and France are pretty, I mean, he's the other guy's in LA, so.
If anyone contacts you or some about it,
We're,
in any like context.
We will give you any information that we get.
What was that, a truck was here last night, with, out-of-state place, was that a visitor or?
An Abdullah?
What time did he arrive last?
Adele, yeah, he was, it was
You
late.
called me.
Yeah, I called you late, so you must have not.
And how long was he here?
10 minutes, 15 minutes, but my mother's saying it was 30. I was trying to,
I don't think so.
yeah, I was trying to usher him out quickly, but at one point, he brought Jake Ryan, who was one of Anna's mentors 10 years ago, who I haven't seen in a decade, which is weird, and then, I was speaking to James, but he went over and spoke to the kids or to Zach, the kids from, but.
I'm hearing a lot, I'm talking around his friends and real, there's leadership. What exactly is going on with this?
Yeah, so, how to explain, it was something called Boston Breakthrough Academy, and it was it was a leadership training program. We formed pretty close relationships there, and as I said, we raised a lot of money through our community service projects each, from Loving Spoonfuls, Torch Foundation, things like that. So we've stayed connected. It was more than 3 years ago. I guess I started this month 3 years ago, and Anna graduated February 3 years ago, so 2020. Well, it's a 4 or 5 month program, and then you get a graduation, and you said that you've graduated or have a certificate of completion of your of work. So it's not accredited, to be clear.
Adele is a member of that?
He is not, no.
He's not.
But
The guy you brought in was?
James Ryan, no, yeah.
I thought it said-
A mentor from her when she was young at work, yeah.
Okay.
And I had a good, someone that she considered. They, I guess they had spent time together, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago as well.
When's the last time I went to that, leadership group that you mentioned?
Oh, yeah, it was 3 years ago now.
It's the last time she was there.
Part of it, yeah, but we stay in touch.
All right.
But, Jan, Melissa, and Peter Kirby, all of them have gone through that training. But if you have any other questions, please let me know. Anything from the pool today?
No.
Very, very cool.
Okay.
It is,
Oh,
1536, Sherman.
Your Honor,
Yes,
could the Commonwealth request that identification D is read into the record?
sure. So George, from time to time, I will read you what are stipulations. They're simply agreements between the parties. I sometimes say they're facts you can take to the bank if the parties agree with it. I'm going to read such a stipulation now, marked for identification as Exhibit D for ID. At 5:18 a.m. on Saturday, January 7th, 2023, Cohasset Police Detective Harrison Schmidt received an email from Richard Walker 9984 at gmail.com, which stated, "We have the so named Anna Walsh with us here. We had a deal worth $127,000. She messed up. We have her here with us, and if she doesn't pay the money, then she'll never be back. And we know that the police and the FBI are involved. Good luck finding us." Detective Schmidt received a second email from Richard Walker 9984 at gmail.com, which stated, "Here is Anna Walsh. Unless she pay the money we deal, she isn't coming back. Comma. Thanks and good luck." The second email had an image of a woman who was not Anna Walsh, and using an image search, police found the image on iStockPhoto.com under, quote, "kidnapped stock photos," end quote. On January 7th, 2023, police obtained a search warrant for data associated with the account Richard Walker 9984 at gmail.com. The search warrant was sent to Google, and investigators learned that the Internet Protocol address, the IP address, with the Richard Walker 9984 email account geolocated to Nigeria, and no IP addresses located in the United States were associated with the account that sent the Richard Walker 9984 at gmail.com email. The Commonwealth is not alleging that Brian Walsh sent the Richard Walker 9984 at gmail.com email.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Sergeant, a couple.
Oh, well, that is interesting. I kept hearing about like who is this Richard Walker, and I kind of heard some ramblings about it. So apparently, someone was being clever and sent a ransom note, and sent two notes, and they ended up tracing it back to Nigeria through the IP address. There was a photo. They did a reverse Google image search, and it wasn't even her. I don't know if somebody was just trolling and was like, "Hey, uh, I don't think that Brian Walsh is that sophisticated in technology to send a ransom note like this. And besides that, if he did or he was, it would be on one of his devices because, as we know, he has some Google searches from the opening statements that he wasn't so clever in hiding those. So some random trolling person out there is conflating things, and poor Harrison Schmidt had to go down a rabbit hole to try to find who this person was. But that's their job, right? All right, so we're going to continue. Now we get to go to questions. So I'm going to back up just a smidge as we start with the questions. Here we go.
Questions about.
Brian Walsh.
So, Sergeant, a couple questions about that interview. There's mention of an application Viber. Could you tell us what that is, if you know?
It's a messaging application.
And there's also mentioning of WhatsApp. Do you understand what that is?
Yes, that's also a communication app.
There was mentioning of a person named Abdullah. Do you know his name?
Yes, Dula Almatari.
And what is his relationship to Anna Walsh?
A previous coworker from the hospitality industry.
There was also mention of Peter Kirby. What is his relationship to the Walshes?
A family friend.
During the interview, a dog can be heard barking. Where was the dog located in the home?
In the crates in that sunken-in family room.
And you had the opportunity to be at the home a few times between the 4th and the 7th. What issues did you ever have with the dog?
None.
There was also mention of the pool today. What was going on at the pool that day?
During that wide-scale search, we had drained the pool to get a better look at it.
Now, after January 6th, when the Cohasset Police Department had a press conference, what happened to your voicemail and email?
I was inundated with messages and tips from the public.
Why is it that your voicemail and email were inundated?
I was the point of contact for any information, so my department email and phone were listed and disseminated to the news and social media.
And was Richard Walker email one of those things that came into you after that press conference?
Yes.
Now,
Makes sense.
Ms. Gilman, could we have what was marked yesterday?
That makes
as
sense,
Exhibit
right?
44.
Okay, so they're just tying it together. So that makes sense. They had done a press conference, and so the trolls were like, hey, I got Anna. All right, that makes sense. I'm glad they cleared that up. I like to tie up loose ends. Let's continue.
Sir, do you recognize Exhibit 44?
Yes.
And where is this in relation to the house?
If you're standing in the backyard with the house to your rear, you'd be looking at like the back right corner of the fenced-in portion of the yard. That's the shed.
What's on
Can
the
we
other
see
side
the
of fence?
exhibit?
Neighboring house.
Come on, let's see the picture.
Now, you and Ms. Gilman, can we have Exhibit 47 from yesterday? Sir, do you recognize this?
Yes.
This is the what you said was the missing poster you created?
Correct.
Now, what information, where did you get the information to create this poster?
I made this on Thursday, so I had the information from the patrol report, the NCIC missing persons form, and the information from the first interview with the defendant.
Thank you. If you could take that down, Ms. Gilman. And when you were speaking to the defendant, what did you learn as far as Anna Walsh's maiden name or prior names?
There was a previous name of a Nip, K-N-I-P-P, and a maiden name of Lubitschek.
Now, after that interview on the 7th, what did you do next as far as your investigation?
We continued to reach out to friends and family, gather more background information.
And on the 8th, what did you do in the morning?
We briefed at Cohasset Police Station a plan to execute a search warrant.
And where were you going to execute the search warrant?
516 CJC Highway.
What time did you have the opportunity to execute the search warrant?
Around 9 a.m.
And so
That's the Walsh residence. Just FYI, they didn't say, oh, where was that? It's the Walsh residence. They're getting ready to do a search warrant because on the 8th, they already have his information on his cell phone.
you executed the search warrant. Who was with you?
Myself, I believe Chief Quigley, the day shift for patrol, the state police detectives, crime scene. I believe that was it.
And who was at the house when you executed the search warrant?
The defendant and his children, and Diana Walsh, the mother.
And what did you do with those people in order to execute the search warrant?
We had reached out to Attorney Minor, and she came to the scene, and they all left with Attorney Minor.
Now, did you ever have the opportunity to speak to Mr. Walsh again on January 8th of 2023?
Yes.
Where did that conversation take place?
Attorney Minor's residence in Situate.
And who was present for that conversation?
Attorney Minor, myself, Trooper DeChico, Trooper Proctor, the defendant, and his children were in the other room.
And have you had the opportunity to review a recording of that?
Yes.
And does that fairly and accurately depict the defendant's statements in that interview?
Yes.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth proceed to have this marked as the next exhibit, which today.
Oh boy, this is going to get good because now they know, right? They've downloaded his phone. They know that his location data, etc. They might have even have gone to these locations to see whether or not he was there and whether or not they have the video evidence. So let's go. Let's continue.
Any additional objections beyond the ones I previously heard?
No, Your Honor.
The 1/8/23 audio will be marked and is now in evidence as Exhibit 62. And for the record, for those of you keeping track over there, the jump is as a result of the following. The parties agreed to, and I had indicated to counsel now will indicate to you on the record, certain financial records the parties agreed to have been admitted into evidence, and those records are now in evidence as exhibits 56, 61. They comprise records from Apple Credit Union, Barclays JetBlue Credit Card, Leader Bank, JP Morgan Chase, Liberty Bank, Bay Credit Union, and Fidelity Records.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, with the court's permission, may the Commonwealth play Exhibit 62?
You may.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman?
$11:13 on Sunday, the 8th, 2023. My name is Harrison Schmidt. I'm a detective at Cohasset Police.
Trooper Michael Proctor, Norfolk County DA's office.
Michael Proctor.
Tracy Minor, attorney for Brian Walsh.
So we're here at 244 Gannett Road in Situate.
Okay, I just have to pause for just a second. Okay, so let's set the scene, right? They are executing a search warrant at his house. He already knows like the jig is up, right? And they took all the kids and the grandma, I don't know where the dog is, and now they're at Tracy Minor, his lawyer's house. And now they're having this interview. You can't make this stuff up, people. You really can't. Let's go.
Did you say the time? Yep. Okay. Let's see. So yes, the last time we spoke was yesterday, and I think we asked you to give us a good account of where you went when you left your house on the 1st, and you told us that you'd gone to visit your mom, went out, ran a few errands for Whole Foods, CVS, and thank you, ma'am. You told us that the Whole Foods was across from the house, and your mom lives in Paradise Lane, and the CVS was in Daniels.
Going over his timeline again.
Sorry, maybe like by the nail salon that on 9th was there.
What road would that be?
By Kathmandu, coffee shop.
Kathmandu. And what did you purchase there?
It was probably the alcoholic wipes or the other wipes, whatever it's called.
Okay, and the method of payment?
Cash.
And the time that you would have been there?
7?
7 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for Tylenol for the children.
Okay.
Because
Well, we know that you got back to Cohasset by 8.
After 11, yes. I put it over there.
It's not an exact science, but like a general vaccination?
Before 7, most likely, it gets dark out, so we're like.
Was it dark when you got there?
Yeah, yeah.
It was. You think it was before 6:30?
I don't.
Okay,
So
so
it could have been at 6:30.
did you go anywhere else other than that CVS and Danny's?
That was the only place I went in the whole group.
And you went there,
Earlier.
for the time?
Yeah. I've been going to Walgreens. Anytime I go, my mother asks me to get alcohol for the kids. That would be trying to get some.
And on the second, the only place you went was to press. Alright. On the second, may I have a look at that? Check, show, press. eBay.
Big purchases of vegetables.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for getting that together for me. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of electronic devices in your house. You've been kind enough to consent to downloading several of them. One of them being the iPad mini that's Thomas's, is that right? Now on previously you told us that Thomas had gotten up on New Year's Eve and spent some time with you, with Jim and Anna, and then he'd gone to bed, right? And that's what, like 10, 30, is that correct?
Around there.
Around there.
You can tell by the photo that was sent by Anna. We give it more exact time.
Do you use any other devices in the house?
I use my phone, and Anna and I only use our phones and I use everything, but I only use the gold laptop.
The gold laptop? Is that an Apple or?
Everything we have in there is Apple, except Anna's work computer was not Apple.
So again, we downloaded the iPad mini, and you've been fairly consistent in your story, your account on the morning. You said that Anna gave you a kiss at 6:30 in the morning. Is that right? You stated that, and then where do you want to make breakfast?
That's correct.
So how do you explain at about 4:54 in the morning, the iPad mini is querying the 10 best ways to dispose of weekend body?
54
in the morning.
I have no idea.
Thomas is asleep. And
Well,
he's using the iPad.
Thomas is in his room with the iPad. Thomas is usually, I don't use an iPad, so that's really weird.
He's not blaming the kid, is he? He's 6 years old. I think Thomas is 6 years old. Did Thomas Google how to dispose of a body? Woo!
He's 6, right?
Yeah. But he does not have
Is he the average intelligence for a 6-year-old?
oh, no, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, but 6-year-olds typically, I have a 4-year-old who's has a hard, he can't spell his last name.
No,
6
exactly.
is obviously way more advanced. If you have a 6-year-old who, there's no.
No, obviously not.
Okay. There is dozens of searches and that iPad on the morning of the 1st that ask how to dispose of a human body, how to get blood out of hardwood floors, how to dispose of a body in the trash, how to stop a body from decomposing, and how do you explain that?
I have no idea.
So you're not using
Liar!
No, so, only to get it for his squeaky knees.
Okay. Anna left at 6, right?
That's what I believe, yeah.
So throughout the afternoon on the 1st, when Anna is gone, the device continues to query how to get blood stains, does blood remove, does the dishwasher remove blood from a knife, so on and so forth.
these queries continue on January 2nd, 3rd. I saw this member body.
That's Proctor's voice. Oh my gosh.
It is 11:21, still January 8th, 2023.
Sergeant, after that interview was over, what did you do?
Oh my goodness.
We went back to the Cohasset Police Station.
If you could keep your voice up, sir.
Sorry. We went back to the Cohasset Police Station.
And did you ever have the opportunity to see Mr. Walsh again that day?
Yes,
About what time?
about 4 p.m.
And where was that?
at Attorney Minor's residence in Situate.
And what did you do with him at that point in time?
I placed the defendant under arrest.
Now, where was the defendant taken after you placed him under arrest?
The Cohasset Police Station.
And did you ever have the opportunity to see his hands on January 8th and January 9th?
Yes.
The Commonwealth would seek to publish what's been marked as Exhibit 48, which is file number 7697.
That's one of the previously admitted exhibits from yesterday morning, yes?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You may publish it.
Sergeant, what is this?
That is a picture of the defendant's thumb.
And if the Commonwealth could publish Exhibit 49, which is file number 7701, also previously marked from yesterday, Your Honor. And Sergeant, what is this?
That is the picture of the defendant's thumb, and you can see the blue tile from the booking room floor in the background.
Ms. Kilman, if you could take that down.
Anybody can have a cut.
Now, Sergeant, what did you do on January 9th in this matter?
I went to 300 Forest Street in Peabody
And about what time did you get to 300 Forest Street in Peabody?
around dusk.
And why were you there?
We had collected 2 dumpsters from the apartment complex at 330 Paradise Road. Those were transported to a transfer, like a trash transfer station in Peabody for examination.
And so what were you doing? Well, so when you got to Peabody, about what time was it?
I was right around the beginning of dark.
And who was there?
Myself, Detective Lieutenant Lopes, Lieutenant Tully, members of the CERT team, and other troopers.
And Lieutenant Tully, he's with the state police and opposed to Detective Lieutenant Lopes with Cohasset.
Correct.
Okay. And so what were these state troopers doing? Not Lieutenant Tully, but the other ones you just mentioned.
It's a big warehouse with trash lining on the walls. We had dumped the contents of the dumpsters in the warehouse, and we began searching the bags, bag by bag.
And why were you doing? So what would you do with the bags when you searched them bag by bag?
The contents of the bags were opened. It was spread out on the ground. We'd look at the contents, see if it was important. If it was, those were moved to like a tarp or plastic or paper sheeting where they could be documented, photographed, collected as evidence.
If the Commonwealth could publish Exhibit 50 from yesterday, Your Honor, which would be file number HAS 7025.
Here we go. What'd they find?
Sir, directing your attention, what is this?
This is plastic sheeting.
And can you see yourself in this photograph at all?
I can see my feet
Where are your feet located?
at the top of the frame.
And if you could just tell us like what you're
I'm
wearing.
assuming
for
like
footwear.
right there.
Brown leather boots and gray pants.
I can't
And
see them.
if the Commonwealth could have Exhibit 51,
Well,
which is file number 6810. So, Sergeant, what are we looking at here as far as the process that you were describing?
So this is right when one of the bags was opened for examination. The contents was dumped out so we could.
oh,
look at
you
it.
can see
And if we could
her
go to
purse.
Exhibit
Looks like a
52, which is
wallet.
File 6867.
Her boots, a jacket.
Now, what are we looking at here in relation to the previous photograph?
Those are the contents moved to like tarp and plastic and paper sheeting.
Her
So they could be
jacket,
further examined.
boots,
And
contents of her purse.
The boots, do
I
you
don't
know
know
what
what that
brand
is.
those are?
Hunter boots.
Hunter
And
boots.
Ms. Gilman, is it possible to zoom in on the white piece of paper underneath the purse? Sergeant, did you see that white piece of paper that night?
I did.
What was that?
That's a COVID-19 vaccination card with the name Anna Walsh on it.
If you could close out of that.
And a car wash coupon.
Now, Sergeant, did you ever have the opportunity to review financial records in this matter?
Yes,
And you said that you'd been working on that during your investigation, but you've also looked at them since then, isn't that correct?
correct.
Okay. At this point in time, Your Honor, the Commonwealth would ask to publish page 6 from Exhibit 56, Apple Credit Union.
You may publish that page, yes.
Thank you.
This is from the Apple Credit Union.
Yes, Your Honor. Sergeant, do you see this statement?
Yes.
All right, Sergeant, what is the date for this statement?
The ending date is January 31st, 2023.
And Sergeant, and Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down. Sergeant, do you remember what the outstanding balance was on the account?
I believe it was overdrawn by over $800.
And Sergeant, regarding the payments on this account, do they bear any similarity to the other withdrawals on the other months?
Yes.
What's those?
Rockland FCU, that payment was reoccurring. Pepco payments was reoccurring. Leader Bank Online was a reoccurring payment.
And Your Honor, at this point in time, the Commonwealth would seek to publish page 8 from Exhibit 57, the Barclays JetBlue card.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant, what is the date for this statement?
Statement period ending in January 17th, 2023.
And what was the balance for this statement?
Statement balance as of 1/17/2023 is $2,145.69.
And Ms. Gill, and Your Honor, if we could publish page 10 from the same exhibit?
You may.
Thank you. And Ms. Gilman, could you go down to the bottom? Sergeant, what did you see as far as activity on this card after December 31st?
None.
Your Honor, may we publish page 4 from Exhibit 58, Leader Bank?
May.
Thank you. Sergeant, do you recognize this statement?
Yes.
What is this for?
This is a mortgage payment for investment property.
And do you see an address associated with it? Towards the bottom.
Yes, the collateral property is a condo at 35A Turdour Street, Unit 35A-5, Lynn, Mass.
Sergeant, in the interviews you had with the defendant, there were discussions of properties. What other properties were there that Anna Walsh or the defendant had access to in Massachusetts?
There were Lynn rental properties.
And if we could close out of this, in Your Honor, with the court's permission, may we publish page 45 of JP Morgan Chase, Exhibit 60. Oh, I'm sorry, Exhibit 59.
Page 40?
45.
Page 45. You may.
Thank you. Sergeant, what is this account?
This is the Chase Freedom Card.
And when is the period ending for this account? Ms. Gilman, could you scroll down just a little? Under opening and closing date, what are those, sir?
The range is October 18th, 2022 to November 17th, 2022.
And Ms. Gilman, could you scroll up? What was due on the account at that point in time after the November date?
$0.
And with the court's permission, the Commonwealth would seek to publish page 47 of the same exhibit.
You may.
Thank you. Now, Sergeant, directing your attention to page 47 of the same exhibit, I'd like to ask some questions about October 30th. Do you see that entry on it?
Yes.
I think what they're trying to establish here is, and they're going through it kind of quickly, is what's the activity on the account, and that Anna didn't use anything after, um, I forget, like the 31st of December, that one credit card. Um, so, because she went to the nail salon, etc. So they're just trying to say that she couldn't be alive after this date because she has no financial transactions. I'm wondering if somebody else is going to go through this forensically or if this is going to be it, but that they're moving really quickly.
What is that state on October 30th?
A United flight was purchased on the 30th for November 23rd, 2022 from airport code IAD to airport code DUB.
What is the date associated with that?
November 23rd, 2022.
The next line down, sir.
Purchased on the same date of October 3rd.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so IAD is Dulles Airport in DC. Got to do some quick. And DUB is Dublin. Okay, so this is when she went to Serbia. Okay, just wanted to double check something. Okay.
30th, a Air France flight departing airport code DUB to arriving CDG, and then a connecting flight CDG to BEG.
And the next line after that, sir. Oh, and by the way, what was the date associated with that airline?
That was 11/27/2022.
The next line on October 30th, sir.
A flight from Lufthansa Airlines for the date of
supposed to be
December
Lufthansa.
7th, 2022, leaving BEG to airport code FRA, and then a connecting flight FRA to BOS.
Do you know BOS's airport?
Boston. Logan.
Boston.
Do you know IAD?
IED is Dulles in Virginia.
What is DUB?
Dublin in Ireland.
What's CDG?
Charles de Gaulle in France.
Yep.
What's BEG?
Belgrade.
What is FRA?
Frankfurt.
Now,
Frankfurt, Germany.
if the Commonwealth could publish page 97.
Okay, that's her
on,
Serbia trip that she took to go see her mom.
Could the Commonwealth publish page 97 of this same exhibit, Your Honor?
Page 97 of 59.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Within the same exhibit, was there another credit card?
Yes.
And what was this credit card called?
IHG Rewards.
And looking at page 97, what is the balance owed on this credit card?
$2,690.97.
And Ms. Gilman, could you scroll down? What is the closing date for that account?
January 23rd, 2023.
And Ms. Gilman, could you scroll down some more? What is the name on that account?
Anna Walshe.
Now, if the Commonwealth could publish page 25 of Exhibit 60 from Liberty Bay.
You may.
Oh, can't see that. Here we go.
Do you recognize this statement, sir?
Yes.
What is this?
This is a Liberty Bay Credit Union statement ending in January 31st, 2023.
And who's the name on the statement?
Anna Walshe.
And what is the balance on the statement?
$3,388.98.
And do you see those withdrawals on January 3rd and 4th?
Yes.
Do they have any similarities to other withdrawals and other statements within this exhibit?
Yes, the MLS property was reoccurring every 3 months, and the WJ Management and Great North Prop were reoccurring monthly.
If the Commonwealth could publish page 7 of Exhibit 61, Fidelity.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I wonder if that has to do with their management property, because MLS is like a listing on like selling properties and then maybe somebody to manage those properties for their investment properties. But maybe they'll have a forensics person go over all of
Page
it.
7.
Does it really matter?
Sir, within Fidelity, how many accounts were there?
2.
And do you recognize page 7?
Yes, this is account ending in 5493, a IRA account.
And who's the name on the IRA account?
Anna Walsh.
And what is the date of the investment report?
February 1, 2023 to February 28, 2023.
And what is the account value at that point in time?
$93,615.82.
And if the Commonwealth finally, Your Honor, could publish page 118 from the same exhibit?
You may.
Thank you. What account is this, sir?
This is an individual investment account ending in 5491 for Anna Walsh.
And what is the investment report date?
February 1, 2023 to February 28, 2023.
And what is the account value?
$117,719.74.
Can you take that down, Ms. Gilman? Your Honor, may I have a moment?
You may.
Okay, so again, they're just going over the financial statements. Were they in dire straits? Doesn't seem like it. Remember, she's also a person who manages other buildings and stuff like that. So some of these are just
Your Honor,
expenses.
at this point in time, could the Commonwealth ask that you read in G for identification, another stipulation?
Yes, may I have G, please? I don't need to repeat to you what the stipulation is. I'll just read it now to you. Brian Walsh was arraigned in United States District Court in Boston, Massachusetts on May 11, 2018. On April 1st, 2021, Brian Walsh pled guilty to indictments for wire fraud, interstate transportation for a scheme to defraud, and conducting an unlawful monetary transaction. On October 6th, 2021, an initial sentencing hearing took place in the United States District Court. Brian Walsh was seeking a sentence of probation and restitution, while the government, through the United States Attorney's Office, was seeking a sentence which included incarceration of 30 to 37 months and restitution of approximately $475,000. In January 2023, Brian Walsh had not been sentenced on the federal charges. Brian Walsh was represented by a lawyer at all stages of the federal case.
Okay, so that is, had wondered if they were going to stipulate to it. Stipulation means that the defense and the prosecution agree that these things can come in. They don't need an expert or somebody to come in to get that evidence in. The judge can read the stipulated agreement into evidence. And so it was his fraud charge. He had sold a fake Andy Warhol on eBay to someone and basically defrauded this person, and therefore that's what the sentence was. And at the time on January 23rd, as she just read, remember they were talking about restitution, so they already knew that restitution was part of it and they were paying some of that off, but he had not been sentenced to jail just yet. They were seeking probation. The government wanted 30 to 37 months. But at the time, remember, they were living in limbo, right? They were not authors of their own destiny as to what she had written on the box of the champagne. Again, a tall tale sign of the stressors in their lives. So this was something that was hanging over Brian's head as to whether or not he was going to go to jail.
One last question, Your Honor. Sergeant, what are the closest hardware stores to 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway?
On Route 3A, to the north is Hingham Lumber, about a mile away. And to the south is Abishan Hardware, also in Cohasset, about a mile away.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, he asked that question because remember he went to Lowe's and Home Depot somewhere else. Probably through some of the other troopers, they're probably going to get that information in because they have the video footage of that. They're just establishing, hey, he could have gone to these locations, but he didn't. He went somewhere else. Again, is it to hide his crime? Is it moving to intent? We'll go on. Okay, so Larry Tipton, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is our first introduction to Larry Tipton. I did see him prior in action at an earlier trial, and the name is escaping me. I'll come back to it. He did a really excellent job with her. Actually, that was a case in front of Judge Cannoni, believe it or not. Judge Cannoni was the judge in the Karen Reed case. And it was a bench trial. And the woman, I forget her name, it's going to come to me. I believe he was representing her. But I'm going to stop talking about it until I can get confirmation from that. But Larry Tipton is up. Let's see how Larry Tipton handles this.
Cross-examination.
I think it's Larry Tipton. It might be her.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
It is. Mr. Tipton's up.
Those financial records that were just displayed to the jury, tell us in your own words, what's the significance of those?
It goes to the totality of the circumstances in the investigation. It gives us background and just an understanding
Understanding of what?
of the entire investigation.
More specific. Come on.
Well, what those records show, isn't it, is that there was a lot of automatic payments being made.
Yes.
Those records do not show any withdrawals reportedly by Mr. Brian Walshe.
Correct.
And
Again, it is the job of the defense for each witness that is on the stand, and it's not their witness, is to poke holes in the defense's theory, or sorry, in the prosecution's theory. Their job is to, you could say, discredit a witness or to get them to maybe curtail things to the defense's side. So sometimes they seem kind of combative towards the witness, meaning they're quite aggressive towards the witnesses, especially if they don't answer. Just answer the questions. Just answer the questions. You don't have to put up any defenses and stuff like that. Just answer the questions. This dude's not on trial. His tactics and police work are, but that's his job. And I do have to say, I have to applaud him. He did an excellent job. Let's continue.
for instance, those records that were related to the Freedom card that you then told the jury about the indication of the flights and you identified DUB as Dublin. Where'd you get those records?
From Chase Freedom.
Okay. You didn't find those records in the home of Mr. Walsh, did you?
No.
And you didn't find those records then in the possession of Mr. Walsh, did you?
Can I explain?
Can you answer the question?
I can.
What is it?
Physically in his possession, no.
And
Does it really matter?
when you were talking and asking Mr. Walsh questions, both on January 4th, January 5th, and later on January 7th, and then on January 8th, he never once told you anything about Anna Walsh being in Dublin, or he was suspecting that she was in Dublin, or anything of the sort.
Correct.
Oh,
When you were talking to Mr. Walsh back on January 4th.
wait a second. Wait a second. She flew to Dublin and then I thought she flew to Serbia. I'll have to go back and check that. I didn't look at those dates very clearly. Anyways, let's continue.
Rightly told you about the federal case, didn't he?
Yes.
And he told you that it was, I think he used the word integrity. He admitted that this was all his fault, correct?
Yes.
And that stipulation that was just read to the jury about the federal case, that was the same case, wasn't it?
Correct.
It was about painting fraud involving Warhol paintings that were fraudulent, correct?
Yes.
And as far as you know, and based on your investigation that's gone on for some time now, other than that federal, there's no other federal case. Let me ask you.
I'm not aware of any other federal case.
And it'd be one of the things you would do as the lead detective in this case to make sure you knew about other pending federal cases or things like that, correct?
Yes.
Let me just ask this. You told us that on January 8th, around 4 p.m., you returned, was it to Attorney Minor's home and placed Mr. Walsh under arrest?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that once he was placed under arrest, is it fair to say that he remained in custody?
Yes.
And so, just getting to that Richard Walker stipulation, fair to say that one of those ransom notes that we had to hear about, that occurred after Mr. Walsh had been placed into custody, correct?
Yes, I believe it was February 10th, the second one I received.
So, even though the stipulation entered into evidence was that everybody agrees that Mr. Walsh had nothing to do with that Richard Walker tip, nonetheless, you knew and the detectives knew early on in this case, that Richard Walker tip had nothing to do with Mr. Walsh, correct?
That was our understanding.
Okay. Now I want to focus your attention on what we heard on the January 8th interview. By the time you got to Tracy Minor's home, you and your colleagues
Here we go. Let's see.
had done an investigation on what's been referred to as a mini iPad, right?
Yes.
And that mini iPad was associated with one of the sons, the oldest son, correct?
Correct.
And when you listen to that recording, when you listen to the questions that are posed to Mr. Walsh, and you ask him about that mini pad, his demeanor changed, didn't it?
Yes.
In fact, it's fair to say, isn't it? I don't want to mischaracterize, but he basically he looked and sounded sad, didn't he?
Correct.
Yeah, because the jig was up.
Because you were talking to him about his oldest son mini pad, right?
Objection.
Basis. Overruled.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
You were talking to him at the time about his oldest son's mini pad, correct?
Correct.
And he basically answered you, I don't know anything about those searches, right?
Correct.
You've learned in your investigation of this case, haven't you, that the searches that you were asking Mr. Walsh about at that time, those searches were not in fact conducted on the mini iPad that was associated with his son, correct?
Yes, they were synced to that, but they did not occur on that iPad, is my understanding.
Oh, that's interesting.
So now your investigation was able to determine that whoever conducted those searches, of course, your investigation revealed that it was Brian Walsh. He never used his young son's mini iPad to conduct any of those searches that we've heard about, correct?
Correct.
Nice. Good job.
And so when you asked him about that mini iPad belonging to his son, his demeanor changed and he looked sad, correct?
Yes.
So how was it synced up? Through iCloud? Maybe they'll have a tech expert
Those-
to come in.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Those two exhibits that were shown, exhibit 48 and 49, they showed what appeared to be cuts on the hands of Mr. Walsh, correct?
Yes.
You have no idea how those cuts occurred, do you?
Correct.
You don't have any
Stated
idea
that.
when they occurred, do you?
Correct. Well, I do know they occurred before the photo was taken, obviously.
I'm sorry?
They occurred before the photo was taken, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Nice one, Detective Schmidt or Sergeant Schmidt. Nice one.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about some of the things you testified to about yesterday. One of the things you testified to is at some point after going to the home and talking to Mr. Walsh on January 4th, you and I believe it was Detective Lawrence?
Officer Greg Lawrence.
Okay, Lawrence. You went and you surveyed the interior and the exterior of the home.
Yes.
And one of the things that you were doing was, as a trained law enforcement officer, you were looking for anything that might give you a clue or anything suspicious or anything like that.
Correct.
And that's how you're trained.
Yes.
And you're a very competent officer, aren't you?
I think so.
And in this case, you exercised that competency. And when you saw, for instance, that Volvo out in the parking lot, you walked out there and you looked inside the Volvo, correct?
Correct.
And is it fair to say that Mr. Walsh was with you at the same time?
Yes.
And you made note, and you told this jury about it, you made note that you saw a piece of plastic sheeting lying in the back of that Volvo, correct?
Yes.
And you even made note of what you described as a seedling that had fallen down into that sheath.
Yes, that's what I remember.
And eventually that sheathing was eventually seized, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
It was eventually seized. It was taken.
That plastic sheeting? Not to my knowledge.
Was there other plastic sheathing that was subsequently seized?
Yes.
And did that subsequent seized sheathing that matched the sheathing that you observed in the Volvo?
It looked familiar. I'm not aware of any scientific comparison from one sheeting to the next.
Okay. But I guess it's just fair to say that when you were looking around and you looked at that Volvo, Mr. Walsh didn't keep you from looking inside, did he?
Correct.
The child-proof latches that we heard about yesterday. If we could have Exhibit 34 brought up, photo number 7335. That's that door that you testified to yesterday?
Yes.
That's the door to the basement?
Correct.
The childhood latches are at the top of the door?
Yes.
Anybody can undo those latches as long as they're tall enough to reach them?
I assume with the proper grip strength, yes.
Okay. And so any adult could probably release that plastic latch, correct?
Yes.
And as far as you know, on the door handle, there was no key lock or anything of the sort preventing somebody from going down into the basement?
I don't recall a key lock on that door.
And when you saw that door for the first time, was it open or shut?
I don't recall.
We heard some evidence yesterday about a hole in the ceiling in Mr. Walsh's bedroom, correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you can take that exhibit down. I apologize. Maybe we could see now Exhibit 29, photograph 7319. Now that's the hole we're talking about, correct?
Yes.
And is it your testimony that you saw that hole on January 4th, the first time you were taking a tour of the house?
I remember seeing it on the 5th and not being surprised by it.
And all you mean by that is, I could have seen it, but I'm just not sure.
Yes, so I definitely remember it on the 5th, and I remember knowing that the ceiling tile was in the bottom drawer of that bureau or that nightstand. I don't explicitly remember seeing it on the 4th, but I believe I did just because I wasn't surprised by my seeing it on the 5th.
Is it fair to say that when you talk about those ceiling pieces, they were stuffed in a drawer that was right there underneath the hole?
Correct.
And it was Mr. Walsh who showed you where those pieces were?
Yes.
And you didn't see anything on those pieces that raised any suspicion?
No.
It's fair to say that when we look at this exhibit, we can see what sometimes is referred to as ceiling joists.
That's what it appears to be, yes.
Okay, and between the ceiling joists is insulation?
Correct.
And it's as if the insulation is intact, the ceiling joists are intact, but the plaster film, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to like figure out what Tipton's trying to do, right? He's just trying to explain away things that the jury answer the questions the jury might have about these things that the prosecution raised. So he's talking about the latches on the door to the basement. And yeah, I mean, it looks like it's only for an adult to do. And but he is saying that at the time the police officers arrived, was the door open? So the latch wasn't on there. So it's kind of like a no big deal, but I'm not sure exactly where he's going with that. The reference to the hole in the ceiling, he's just explaining it away, just like I explained it. It's like it's a nothing burger. I gathered it as a nothing burger, so he's just trying to make it as a nothing burger, and that just means that it doesn't have to do with anything of an elements of a crime or anything of that nature. So, but the jury doesn't know that right now. Remember, the jury knows nothing. You know nothing. I know some certain things because I've seen some things prior to this. You know nothing. So at this moment, with this witness, he's trying to explain away some of the nothingness so that the jurors can at least get answers in their question, like, why is there a big hole in the ceiling? Why is it in a drawer? But Brian Walsh just said, hey, here it is. So he wasn't hiding something. It's like, this happened and this is what's going on. So Brian Walsh had explained it away. Let's continue on. I'm going to back it up just a smidge.
And it's as if the insulation is intact, the ceiling joists are intact, but the plaster film, correct?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that plaster falls down without any pressure on it, depending on what happened, correct?
Depending on the state of disrepair, possibly.
Okay. You have no idea how that hole occurred, do you?
I believe in one of the audio recordings, the defendant states he goes up there and was walking around.
Okay. But you don't have any idea what he was walking around for.
Correct.
And in fact, in that conversation, the context of that was that that occurred long before January 1st.
That was my presumption.
Presumption based on the context of the conversation?
Yes.
Again, explained it away. Nothing burger. But if the jury has a question, they need an answer.
That insulation that we see, is it fair to say that what we're looking at is the paper wrapping that covers the fiberglass that forms the insulation?
Yes, the vapor barrier portion of the insulation.
And is it fair to say, do you know, well, that's a terrible question. Do you know, sir, that the insulation that we're looking at in that exhibit what color it is when you look at the fiberglass insulation?
I remember it being pink.
And it's a pink color. Now, we saw some photographs of the basement of the Cohasset home, didn't we, yesterday? Correct?
Yes,
And in those photographs, it also showed photographs on the ceiling to the basement, correct?
correct,
And that ceiling also had insulation, correct?
correct,
And that color of that insulation was also pink, correct?
correct.
I wonder if this might come up again. We'll take a note of that. Pink insulation in the basement as well as the ceiling of the
Talked
bedroom.
about going down into the basement, and you saw some bags down there. You recall that?
Yes,
Could we have exhibit number 33, photograph 7343? Well, I got the wrong number. I apologize. Well, I think I'll just ask you questions. I apologize for all of that. You went down into the basement.
yes,
Did Mr. Walsh go down in the basement with you?
yes,
You found some bags down there,
I did.
and you didn't open the bags.
Correct.
But you pushed on the bags or touched the bags, didn't you?
Yeah, I manipulated it with my boot.
With your boot. And what did you think was in the bags?
Like a piece of a rug or like carpet sample sized.
Okay. But you didn't look in the bag, correct?
Correct.
But based on your training and experience, you thought it was pieces of rope.
That's what I assumed.
Okay. And this was on January 4th, wasn't it?
It was either the 4th or the 5th.
Okay. Whether it's the 4th or the 5th, there were still bags down there in the basement that may have contained pieces of rope.
Correct.
And Mr. Walsh was right with you when you were using your boot to touch those bags, and using your training and experience, determined that feels like they have rug pieces.
Correct.
And down in that basement, those stairs, they're wood stairs, aren't they?
They are.
And did you notice the very bottom stair to the stairway to the basement? It was cracked or broken.
Not at the time.
And of course, the flooring for that basement that you entered, that was concrete, correct?
Yes.
You were asked some questions both yesterday and today about the pool that is in the rear part of the home in Cohasset, correct?
Yes.
And at one point, you looked at the pool and it had water in it, and then subsequently, it had been drained, correct?
Yes.
And as far as you know, nothing of any significance was found in that pool, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, you would be interested to determine if there was any evidence that a substance like blood had been placed in that pool. That'd be one of the things you'd be curious about,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And after you and your fellow officers had uncovered the searches that we've heard some about, you're aware of a search, aren't you, that was found on the map book that talked about something about how you measure blood in a pool, or some words to that effect? Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And so there was never anything found of any significance in the pool, was there?
Not that I'm aware of.
And in fact, I think it was, you talked about a canine search in the back area, correct?
Yes.
And that canine is a human scent canine, correct?
Interesting. I'm not really sure about that Google search in reference to pool and the blood in the pool. Maybe that'll come up later. Not sure exactly what that is, but I start it so that if it comes up again, we can talk about it. I'm gonna back up just a little bit.
In fact, I think it was, you talked about a canine search in the back area, correct?
Yes.
And that canine is a human scent canine, correct?
It's a patrol and tracking dog.
And it didn't hit on, if that's the proper term, It did not hit on anything in the backyard whatsoever.
I believe the canine was on the outside portion of that fenced-in backyard doing the track.
Okay. It didn't hit on anything significant or related to your investigation of this case.
No.
Now, you walked through the house, you already told us, correct?
Yes.
You walked through it at least twice, one on January 4th and then on January 5th.
Yes.
And you didn't see anything that seemed suspicious, correct?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that, quote, you're sensitive to that, correct? Based on your training and experience.
Yes.
But you well know, don't you, that subsequently, criminalists, multiple criminalists from the Mass State Police then arrived at that house sometime after or on January 8th of 2023, correct?
Enter the MSP.
Yes.
And they were there for more than just 2 days, weren't they?
It was more than one day. It went into the second day at least.
And they went over every single room and item in that Cohasset home, didn't they?
That is my presumption.
And so even though when you, as a trained and experienced officer, walked through that house a couple of times and didn't see anything, still there was trained criminalists that came to the house to conduct testing and searching for anything that might be significant, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
There was trained criminalists that came to the house to look for anything that might be significant related to the investigation that was ongoing.
That is correct.
I want to ask you some questions about the media used to message.
I'm going to pause it right there for just a quick second. It is also the defense's job to go ahead and bring up things that they think is important, to their case, as well as to discredit some of the things that the prosecution's going through. So Tipton is just going like bit by bit by bit by bit, answering questions that might have been asked, bring up potential questions that the jurors may not have thought about, and sort of just going through and coordinating what does this officer know, what doesn't he know, what did he do, what didn't he do. And it's very interesting. Larry Tipton's doing a great job.
There's no such thing as something called iMessenger, is there?
I'm familiar with iMessages,
Right.
like Apple-to-Apple communication.
Right. So my question is rather simple. There's no such thing called iMessenger, correct?
At that direct quote, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And when you were talking to Mr. Walsh on January 4th, he used the term iMessenger, didn't he?
It was either iMessenger or iMessages.
Well, you were asked about that when you testified before the grand jury, weren't you?
I don't recall, likely.
Well, do you recall that at the grand jury, based on a series of questions, you determined and stated in part that when Mr. Walsh was talking about iMessenger, he was really talking about Facebook messaging.
The context of that portion of the interview did seem as if it was, because we're on the Facebook subject and social media subject.
And when he was talking to you and saying, well, some messages would come up on his phone that were intended for Anna Walsh, he was talking about, quote, iMessenger. That's the phrase he used, correct?
I believe so.
And then Messenger, once again, has to do with Facebook, correct?
That was my presumption from the context of the conversation.
And so you are unaware, as you sit here today, that there is any forensic evidence that Mr. Walsh ever saw the messages or any messages that may have occurred between Anna Walsh and one person named William Faster.
Ah, knew it. Okay, hold on. Hold on.
The wording of
Okay, I knew it. I knew that's where they were going. Okay. So what he's trying to allude to is that apparently he was getting messages on Messenger that were intended for Anna that were from William Fastow, the paramour, the lover, right? And this is where, again, I was asking, did he know that Anna was seeing William Fastow before they had an altercation and she is no longer with us, right? And I wondered if what these messages are, I don't know what they are, and whether or not he did or he didn't see them. But here is the defense attorney's asking him, you don't know whether or not Brian Walsh saw these messages, do you? There's no forensic data. Now, I don't know if he can answer this question, but I'm going to back it up a little bit. But that's where they're getting at. That's what the hint is.
that.
Walsh ever saw the messages or any messages that may have occurred between Anna Walsh and one person named William Faster, correct?
Can you repeat the wording of that, just so I have it clear?
You are unaware of any forensic evidence that establishes that Mr. Walsh saw iMessages that may have been sent between Anna Walsh and William Faster.
I don't recall any digital forensics related to what you're describing.
And in fact, are you aware of the use of Messenger in the context of Facebook?
Yes.
And is it fair to say, and just correct me if I'm wrong, that somebody can friend somebody on Facebook and then they can trade messenger communication, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
And anybody who is a friend will see those messenger communications and can respond to them?
In the context of Facebook,
Yes, in the context of Facebook.
messages, my understanding is messages between people would be only between the people that are included in that message.
Well, when you talk about messenger, you're talking about messengers, the format used
Facebook,
by
Facebook Messenger, yes.
It's fair to say that if someone's trying to hide an affair, they don't communicate using Facebook Messenger that might be open to people that they don't want to find out about an affair.
Objection.
Sustained.
Right. He can't answer that question. That is, that's to assume facts that aren't in evidence. He can't make that assumption about whether or not somebody wants to hide an affair and whether or not they would use Messenger. He would be speculating. You can't do that.
You are unaware, as you sit here today, of any forensic evidence that indicates that Mr. Walsh saw any Facebook Messenger communications between Anna Walsh and William Fastow, aren't you?
Correct.
I want to see those messages. I mean, so, okay. First of all, how is he seeing these messages? I want to know Does he have access to her Facebook? And which device were they sort of looked on? That's what I want to know. And could somebody actually who's having an affair contact somebody via messenger? Absolutely. People are dumb, right? People are dumb. If they want to have an affair, you know, they can message in variety of things, right? Um, so sure they could use, I mean, I'm speculating, I'm not on the stand. So again, we'll have to see what the messages are to see what she was saying to him. But they have to communicate with one another because they met up. So anyways, let's go on.
In your interview and your questioning of Mr. Walsh, and if I could withdraw that, I apologize. During your questioning of Mr. Walsh, you were present with others, correct? Other
Yes.
officers.
Yes.
So sometimes when the jury heard that questioning, it wasn't you asking the questions, it was other officers, including Trooper Pacheco, correct?
Yes.
But during those questioning, you were asking, and when I say you, I mean you or your colleagues, you were asking Mr. Walsh for names of people that might be helpful, correct?
Yes.
And he gave you a number of names, people who he knew Anna may be friends with in DC, and names of people that she might be friends with in the Massachusetts area, correct?
Correct.
And one of the names that he gave you was William Fastow, correct?
Yes.
And you are aware of the fact that William Fastow sold the $1 million townhouse to Anna Walsh and Brian Walsh, correct?
Yes.
And when Mr. Walsh gave you the name of William Fastow, he didn't sound angry, did he?
He did not.
He didn't say anything pejorative about Mr. Fastow, did he?
Correct.
And before that occurred, you or your fellow officers had made it clear by asking Mr. Walsh questions of whether he knew anything about an affair or affairs that Anna Walsh might be involved in.
Yes, we asked about that.
And you asked him about it more than once.
Correct.
And you were asking about it because it could be something that you'd use in your investigation, correct?
Yes.
And by the nature and the context,
It could be an element of the crime, right? So when you go down the checklist of why somebody commits crimes, financial gain, affairs, those two are like the top two of the list. Let's continue.
of your investigation.
Yes.
Back it up. Sorry.
By the nature and the context of your investigation, you were making it clear that, well, an affair could be some evidence that could be either good or bad in our investigation.
Potentially.
Yep.
And so anybody who's trying to hide the fact that they knew about an affair that could be bad evidence, you wouldn't expect them to give you the name of a person that they knew was having an affair with their wife.
Objection?
Sustained.
That would be
Isn't that
speculation.
part of your training experience, officer, that you don't expect people to give you harmful information when you're asking them questions?
Oh, that's speculation again.
In any event, you had made it clear.
That's speculation completely, right? But he could have kind of answered that, right? He could have said, listen, suspects give up them lie, or suspects telling themselves all the time. I mean, I would have loved to have seen his answer on that. And give an example, right? You wouldn't believe this one guy who was trying to lie about one thing, spilled the guts about something else, right?
Here to Mr. Walsh.
I'll back it up. Sorry.
When you're asking them questions.
Objection?
Sustained.
In any event, you had made it clear to Mr. Walsh that evidence of an affair could be either good or bad, correct?
Can you repeat that?
But you made it clear, you and your colleagues, in the multiple questions about an affair, that evidence of an affair between Anna and somebody else could be good or bad evidence.
I don't think he stated that.
I don't recall speaking about an affair being good or bad.
Yeah.
In any event, we can all agree that he just gave you the name of William Fastow in the context of anybody that she may know, Anna, may know in the DC area, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Along with other names, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Now,
Maybe he didn't know exactly the extent of their affair based upon the messages. Again, we'd have to see what the messages state. You know, if they're just kind of talking and like there's no flirting or anything like that, maybe he could have had like a small suspicion that there was something going on. But I don't know what the messages are, so we'll have to wait and see.
on January 7th, during the interview of Mr. Walsh, he was told, and the jury has heard this, that obviously, quote, obviously, with Anna missing, you know, the public and many people, they're going to have their suspicions about you and whether you did something to Anna. That was told to Mr. Walsh on January 7th, wasn't it?
Correct.
In fact, the point of that question was you were warning Mr. Walsh that people are going to suspect him, correct?
It was the topic of discussion.
Okay. And so it's true, isn't it? When something happens like a missing person, people don't believe somebody that they think might be responsible for the missing person, correct?
Objection.
Speculation.
I'm sorry, Joe.
I'll have the question back. Sorry about that.
I'm
Or
sorry.
new question.
The judge didn't hear the question. She wants to hear the question back. She didn't hear what the question was. Oh, they're going to read it back. Oh.
Did I hear that? No. If I was supposed to.
Maybe the best thing to do is withdraw the question and start over.
Start another one. Thank you.
You were warning Mr. Walsh that people weren't going to believe him.
I didn't make that statement, so I was not warning him.
Oh, he didn't make the statement. Nice.
You were there with your colleagues, correct?
Yes.
And
Probably was DeChico.
colleague, I mean, from the context of it, you understand that your colleague was telling Mr. Walsh, people aren't going to believe you, so they're going to be suspicious.
That's what he said.
I don't know if it was under the context of people aren't going to believe you, but we were discussing the subject that he may, people may suspect him. And I remember he said that his attorney exposed him to that.
Okay. But regardless of what his attorney told him,
Where are you
when it was
going?
told to Mr. Walsh, obviously with Anna missing, you know, the public and many people.
Okay, so the other thing in lawyering world is that you usually don't ask a question unless you know the answer to it, right? And then also you ask questions to sort of steer the conversation towards something that you want answered, right? I'm not sure where Mr. Tippin is going with this. Maybe he's saying, well, you told him that he was going to be a suspect in some way, shape, or form, and yet he was still being cooperative with you. Well, you know as well as I know, you've watched the crime shows. You watch if you're a true crime fan, you know as well as I know that people are trying to get out of their situation, right? So he wants to be helpful in the situation. He doesn't want to seem like he's hindering the investigation. He wants to be a willing participant until the bomb is dropped, right? Until he knows that they suspect him. Currently, he doesn't know that they suspect him. This was the 7th interview that they had, which I believe was like the second or third. No, this is the 3rd interview that they had with him on the 7th, and they had his information downloaded. But like I said, something happens to a spouse, something happens to a partner, the police automatically go to the partner or the spouse. That is like the checklist, right? So I thought it was interesting that they said that. I thought Chico made a great comment there, because when you say that, what response are you going to get from the person who you're talking to? At some point in time, like they're lying so much, and they've been living this lie now. He's been living this lie for 6 or 7 days now, right? Is he going to crack, right? Sometimes people just go ahead and they just word salad and just blurt out everything and tell on themselves. Or does he think he's smart enough to be like, oh, no, you're never going to catch me, but I'm going to go ahead and steer you in this direction. Don't see anything over here. I'm going to steer you in this direction. So maybe if I just give William Fausto out right away, you're not going to suspect that I know that he's having an affair with my wife, right? So I'm not sure where Larry Tipton's going with this. So we'll see. I'm going to back it up a little bit, but that's just kind of my speculation of how he's sort of like, well, you told him he's going to be a suspect, but he didn't like take the bait.
People, what his attorney told him. When it was told to Mr. Walsh, obviously with Anna missing, you know, the public and many people, they're going to have this suspicion about you and whether you did something to Anna, correct?
Yes.
And as an experienced police officer, you know that to sometimes be true, correct?
Sometimes.
People don't believe you when you say something happened, correct? Objection.
Overruled, but I am having a little hard time. I don't know if it's the monitor or the tone or the largeness of this room, so keep your voice up. And if you can on the microphone, I know you like to move around.
Maybe I should just stay right here.
It's all right. You can move around. I just need you to keep your voice up.
Thank you, Judge. You know, sir, that in investigations, for instance, for a missing person, people don't believe the person that they might think is responsible, correct?
I've always been under the premise of trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I like this guy. He's great.
That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Oh.
Witness may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Commonwealth may call its next witness.
Oh, it's 10:53. They're not going to take a break.
Commonwealth House Trooper Nicholas Garino.
Okay, hang on. We're going to pause it there. Pause. Okay. I have to take a small break. I talked to you about I'm going to do these in chunks. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording right here. I'm going to upload it, give a brief overview of what's going on, and then we'll get Garino in. It's going to be very interesting. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so you know more of what's going on. We're going to end this. Thanks for watching Legalese 1, 2, 3. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.